one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, everybody. And just to begin on my far left, please, introduce ourselves.
Anthony Henry.
Michael Donlin.
Richard Tripp.
Crystal Morin.
Lynn Perkins, Chair.
Gaspo Bimba.
Jim Dietzel.
Jason Dragani.
And we have Code Enforcement Officer Carrie Owen with us, and our clerk would be Eileen Boudreau. How'd I do? All right.
Excellent.
Got everybody's names through tonight. All right. Before proceeding, please shut off all cell phones, iPhones, anything that could create a distraction of the proceedings. In the event of an emergency, please exit to the rear of the room. And these proceedings are audio-video recorded and scheduled to terminate at 10 p.m. as they always do. Besides that, let's get into our agenda. The election of officers was first on the agenda, but Mr. Corbett is not here. He'll be tardy. So a motion to put that to the end of the meeting, please.
I'll motion.
Thank you, Mr. Dragani.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, first case up is 22-134, a request for extension. Mr. Donlin, you sit on this, please.
Yes, sir.
All right, is the applicant present? Gentlemen, this is just brief, but kind of a formality. If you'd like to go ahead and tell us what's going on with your project.
Yeah, so we need to fulfill some requirements for Town of Auburn before we are able to pursue a building permit with Town of Derry. We've made progress. It took about 1.5 years to get the driveway plan designed and so forth, and then we had several meetings with Town of Auburn planning. And we then had to delineate the wetlands, so we did that. And we also hired an attorney to draft the shared driveway agreement. So the only thing that is pretty much outstanding for Auburn is to get the agreement signed and registered at the County of Deeds. And that's pretty much it. Then we can get that final letter to then send to Derry and take it from there.
Is the wetlands engineering due to Auburn or Derry?
It was requested by Auburn, and I'm not sure if we need to for Derry, but I mean, it's already done, so.
Okay, just contributes to your delay.
Correct.
All right, but you're in process, and it sounds like, Ms. Owen, anything there from you?
Nothing, just to kind of reiterate on this case to remind everybody, this previously was granted a variance June 2nd, 2022, and was granted a 2-year extension June 6, 2024, and obviously things are still underway and in process, as
Okay,
the
very
applicants have
good.
stated. Thank you.
Yep. Anybody have any comments before we move forward? Questions, concerns? No? All right, very good. Okay, well, let's motion this, Ms. Moran, sorry. Bound to happen in the night. Would you like to motion on this, please?
I make a motion on case number 22-134 to grant a variance extension that was granted on June 22nd, 2022 to the terms of Article 3, Section 165-9 of the Town of Derry zoning ordinance and New Hampshire RSA 674.41 to allow the construction of a single-family dwelling on the property which does not have frontage on a town-approved street. Parcel ID 14021, zoned LMDR, as presented with the following conditions. 1, subject to obtaining all state town permits and inspections. And that concludes the reading of the motion. I need a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Donlin. Just a quick finding of fact, the applicants obviously have been in process development following the intentions of of planning layout for this project. Sounds like that their delays are no fault of their own. Anybody have any amendments or anything to add to that? Seeing no gestures there. Moving this forward for a vote. Motion on the floor. Been seconded. All in favor of moving this for a vote, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Donlin?
Yes.
Mr. Tripp?
I vote yes.
Mrs. Moran?
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Dietzel?
Yes.
Okay, and the chair will make it 5-0 unanimous, so congratulations, gentlemen, you're all set on that extension. You got 2 years.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, have a good evening. Next up is case number 26-114, Promised Land Survey on behalf of Craig and Jennifer. Who are they? What's their last name? Oh, Peabody, I'm sorry. All right. Are those folks here? Anybody from, you're Mr. Peabody?
No, my name's Brandon from Promised Land Survey.
Oh, very good, okay.
We've requested that be tabled, the clients asked, so it was in the agenda that it was asked to be tabled, but
Yep.
I didn't know if it had become official or not. I'm not prepared to present it tonight.
No, that's fine, we got it. Just wasn't sure, the names always get me.
Yeah.
All right, so we're looking for an extension there. Mr. Obimba, would you sit for this, please?
I will, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Anybody have any comments before we read the motion? No? All right, very good. Mrs. Moran, would you read the motion for this, please?
Just to table it?
Yes, please.
I make a motion on case number 26-114 to table the meeting until the next meeting, June 4th, 2026. And that concludes the reading of the motion. I need a second.
Second.
All right. I don't see a reason for a finding of fact. This is a date certain, moving it forward. So motion's been made and seconded. All in favor of vote, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Obimba?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Tripp?
Yes.
Mrs. Moran, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And Mr. Dietzel?
Yes.
And Chair will make that unanimous as well, so we'll see you on 6/4/26. Okay, thank you. Case number 26-110, Michelle Lamontina and John Lamontina. Mr. Dragani, would you sit on this, please?
Yes, sir.
You folks are joint owners on the property? Or single?
No, technically I own it.
I'm sorry?
On the mortgage, it's me. It's
Okay.
not, but we're
It's
married.
not
so-
joint.
Huh?
It's not joint?
No.
Okay. You are married?
Yes.
Obviously? Okay, good enough. All right. A lot of moving pieces this evening, as you may have witnessed from the prior meeting. All right, so you have your application there. I'm going to have you read it for the record, okay? And then we'll just ask you some questions.
So read the application that because there's all different, what is it, the 1 through,
Should have 9 points on it. Town of Derry application for exception.
Yeah, it's there. Applicant, is that, I don't know. Please for agenda, you must have the following, so it's not that. I don't know what it is. Oh. Claiming the dwelling unit is his or her legal.
So what, the thing
It
that
should be
begins with
this-
number
this
one is?
document right here.
Yeah, so number one is the applicant claims the dwelling. That's the first sentence there for number one. Unit as his or her legal residence.
Yes, that's the
Okay.
application.
All right, the residential use of
We're
the.
going to ask your applicant to read it.
Oh, okay. I thought we both kind of were.
Okay.
So the application claims as a dwelling unit as his or her legal residence. The residential use was established by the applicant prior to the filing of the requested for special exemption. It was established December 18th of 2018. The purpose of the house business will not be offensive to the neighborhood by reason of the emission of odor, fumes, dust, smoke, vibration, noise, or other cause. No. The home business will be conducted within the residence structure of other existing structure. It will not exceed 25% of the finished and living area of the dwelling, yes. The home and business use will not change the residence character of the dwelling or property, no. Not more than one sign or other advertising device will be displayed on the property, and it will not exceed 3 square feet of surface, yes. Not more than one person not residing in the dwelling unit will be employed on the premises at the same time. Total number of non-resident employees is 0. Sufficient off-street parking will be provided for employees, clients, and customers. Where the lot size permits, the parking will not be provided within 25 feet of the front of the lot line, nor within 10 feet of the side of the rear lot line. Must provide sketch showing parking, yes. Not more than one home business use will be conducted on the property, yes.
Did you provide a sketch for your parking?
I believe I did.
Okay.
It's right in on the lot size.
I see.
Right on the thing.
Yeah, so you provided the copy of the site plan?
I did,
Yeah,
yes.
okay. All right. Any questions from anybody on the board? Seeing nobody want to
I
ask?
guess, is this going to be by appointment only?
It is by appointment only.
So that your working hours are dependent upon?
9 to 5.
What, 9 to 5?
9 to 5, yes.
All right, that's good,
Monday through Friday?
yeah.
It is, correct.
And you have parking available on the property,
Driveway parking, yes.
driveway parking?
Yep.
Very nice. Thank you.
Anybody else? No?
Oh,
Mr. Dragani, anything?
Not at this moment.
Okay. Mr. Obimba?
All set.
Mr. Henry?
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay. Anything else you want to share with us other than the script you had to read?
No.
Okay. All right. Oh, I don't see any problems here so far. Let me just make a call to public, okay? So if anybody comes up, has anything to say, that you'll have an opportunity to rebut if it's for you or against you, okay?
Okay.
At this point, this will be an opportunity for anybody that wishes to speak in support of this application to come forward. And seeing nobody rise, anybody wish to speak in opposition to this would be your opportunity to come forward. Looks like you folks are unscathed here. If you don't have anything else to say, add, take a motion to go into deliberation, please.
so moved.
All right. Second, please. Thank you. Mrs. Moran has a second. All in favor of deliberation, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Anybody have anything they want to start off with in regards to this?
Well, I guess I did have probably a couple more things to ask. I should have asked what the days of operation should have been. They were nice enough to tell me that the hours were 9 to 5.
I interjected with that, piggybacked, and that was Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
Yep.
Right. Well, thank you for
Piggyback.
covering my back.
It's all right. Anybody else?
I believe this is a permitted use. She's a professional, and I believe she meets all 9 criteria. I really don't see any problem with this.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Dietzel. Mr. Dragani, you're all set?
I would just agree with him. It fits in the lot plot. It fits in the house. It also fits on the lot. I don't see an issue
Okay.
with any of the criteria.
All right, let's structure the motion, subject to obtaining all, well, sorry, I skipped you, Mrs. Owen. I knew I was forgetting something. Did you want to add anything here?
There's not much to add. Obviously, we reviewed the size of the room in comparison to the overall home and meets the requirements. We understand that there's parking in the driveway. I just want to mention that if a sign is requested, we'd be requiring a separate sign permit in the future.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Structuring the motions to the town's, state and town permits and inspections. Anybody else have a condition they want to put on this? Seeing no gestures? All right, good enough. Well, then let's take a motion, come out, actually, let's make sure we specify the hours there. Number 2 would be hours of operation, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Okay? That's
Appointment
second.
only?
I'm sorry, again?
Appointment only?
I don't,
No, I'm not going to say that because we've indicated what the hours of operation are permitted for, so whether it's appointment only or just people walking in, I'll leave that to their discretion. Obviously, if parking becomes an issue, then it gets dealt with in a different manner.
Now, since it's a special exception, it sunsets with the owner?
It does.
Yes.
Yep. All set? All right, take a motion, come out of deliberation.
So moved?
I'll second.
Mr. Dragani has a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, Mrs. Moran, you have a motion to read.
I do, thank you. I make a motion on case number 26-110, Michelle LaMattina, to grant a special exception as provided in Article 6, Section 165-48.A.1 of the Town of Derry zoning ordinance to allow the operation of a wig salon at the residence. Parcel ID 09049-001, zoned LDR, as presented with the following conditions. We have 2. 1, subject to obtaining all state and town permits and inspections. 2, the hours of operation will be Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that concludes the reading of the motion. I need a second.
Second?
Puts that motion on the floor. We're going to go with the finding of fact. The applicant is requesting a special exception to allow the operation of a wig salon at the residence. Property is located in the low-density residential zoning district. The salon will operate within an existing 166-square-foot room on the first floor of the home. If a sign is requested, permit is required. Anybody have any addendums to add to that? Seeing no gestures, okay. All in favor of moving this motion for a vote, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Mr. Dietzel.
Yes.
Mr. Tripp.
I vote yes. I find that the applicants have met all the criteria of the special exception.
Mrs. Moran.
Chair, I vote yes.
Mr. Dragani.
I vote yes.
And the chair will make that unanimous, 5-0, so congratulations, you're all set. Anybody aggrieved by this has 30 days to bring attention back to the board. After that, recourse will be to Superior Court, but I think where there's no opposition here this evening and all butters have been notified, you should be safe. Okay?
Great.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Next up is case number 26-111. This is Promised Land Survey representing S&T Trust, Tracy and Stephen Lannon.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to recuse myself on this case. I have a personal relationship with the landowner.
Very good. Mr. Donlin and Mr. Dragani, would you sit on this case, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. And good evening.
Good evening.
Promised Land Survey.
Yep. Brandon Wing from Promised Land Survey. What would you like me to do first? Introduce it or read through the application?
Hang on a sec. Wing, correct?
Yes, sir. W-I-N-G.
Write it down.
All right.
All right, so why don't we just start typical with the reading of the application, okay?
Okay. Go right to the points. Is that-
Criteria is
Yep.
fine. If you want to introduce it in the face page of the application, what you're doing, that's fine as well.
I'll just skip to the points if that's okay.
That's fine.
The variance will not be contrary to the public interest because Whitney's Grove Road, I wrote Whitney Grove Road in a lot of places, as you'll notice, and it's written Whitney's in a lot of online information in Whitney, so I'll try to amend it to Whitney's. Whitney's Grove Road already serves as the only access for several dwellings in the neighborhood, and no new access roads are proposed. The spirit of the ordinance is observed because the proposed use, which is a residential dwelling, is consistent with the allowable uses for the LDR zoning district. We are not asking for relief of any dimensional or use requirements. Substantial justice is done because the existing lot of record is currently accessible over and across the existing roadway and cannot be accessed via any other route. The values of surrounding properties are not diminished because new construction homes invariably add aesthetic value to a neighborhood, but they also benefit the local real estate market by increasing the property values for comparative market analyses. Literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship. A, for purposes of this subparagraph, unnecessary hardship means that owing to special conditions of the property that diminish it from other properties in the area. Lower I, no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application of that provision to the property. The special condition of this property is that it is landlocked and has its only access over Whitney's Grove Road, which is not an approved public street. And lower I, 2I, the proposed use is a reasonable one. As we see it, this is not only a reasonable request, but a necessary one, as Whitney's Grove Road is the intended and only access to the subject parcel.
And just back you up, your written application on that I section, you had said, which is not an approved, your application says is an approved public street, but that's not the case, correct?
Correct. I don't see what you're talking about, but I probably have a typo in there.
Yeah, it's just the bottom.
Whitney's, yeah.
The bottom line on this first page.
Okay. Oh, yeah. It is not an approved public street. That is correct.
So let the record reflect that change on that application. All right, please proceed.
Okay, so I'll just read my introduction if that's okay. The purpose of this application is to request a variance to the terms of Article 3, Section 165-9, which corresponds to the General Court Statute RSA 674:41 IC1. That statute grants local governing body the jurisdiction to authorize the issuance of a building permit on private or other non-town approved highways and rights-of-way. We are requesting this variance to allow the construction of a dwelling and garage on map 15, lot 16-3. The lot is subsized by the current zoning ordinance, but is a pre-existing non-conforming lot of record created in 1970, which is prior to the adoption of the current zoning ordinance. Even though the lot is subsized, we're not looking for any relief of any of the setbacks, as there is sufficient area to build a dwelling and garage. The owners purchased this lot with the intent of building a house for their daughter and her family. The dwelling will be serviced by a private on-site well and septic, and I've received state shoreline permit and construction approval for a septic system. The parcel currently has access to and from Island Pond Road via Whitney's Grove Road, and there are deeded access and flowage rights, which date back to 1929, when Arlington Mills granted the parcel to William Chase. Whitney's Grove Road provides access to all the abutting lots, including the parcel that's immediately to the east of this, our subject parcel, which was granted the same variance we're requesting on January 8th of this year. I understand that there were concerns voiced by some of the abutters about width, condition, and upkeep of the existing traveled way. I understand those concerns and truly sympathize with them. However, I do want to reiterate that we are not creating any new lots. This subject lot was created nearly 56 years ago, so it is a legal lot of record with ample room to build what we're proposing, and it does have deeded rights to use the existing road. And that's all I have by way of introduction, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Could you replay that January, did you say January 8th?
Yes.
Okay, and it seemed like this had some familiarity to it.
Yeah.
When that came in, was it under the current owner
When,
in January 8th?
I don't remember who owned that one.
I haven't looked at the deed for transfer, so
I have, at the time of my submittal, my application submittal, I have Helen Russell Protection Trust.
okay.
I don't know if it's changed hands since.
Is it under purchase and sale?
The one to the east? I'm not sure if it's,
So is this the same property that was?
No.
I see. Oh, that's what I was
No.
looking for clarity.
oh, no,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Fair enough. I got
The
it.
one to the east, the property to the east received a variance for exactly what we're requesting tonight.
So are you looking for a travel lane for the same corridor that the prior application was?
It's the same, existing Whitney's Grove Road. It's a private road, and it's access to this property as well.
Any questions from anybody on the board, just to keep things rolling?
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Tripp?
So Whitney's Grove Road is a private road,
Yes.
which means you probably need an easement?
No, their deeded rights already exist. Not title, but rights, so the access is already granted to the people who use it. So it is a deeded easement, even though there's not necessarily any math on it, it's a deeded right-of-way.
Okay.
There are access rights over it.
So it's a shared right-of-way?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Just to be clear, the shared driveway is starting when it branches off of Whitney Grove Road, is that what I'm understanding from the survey?
You're looking at the plan, right, the words that say existing access?
Yes.
That goes to my client's home property right there, and then another abutting property. And we are proposing to branch off of Whitney's Grove. So to be clear, there's no corridor or right-of-way that exists on Whitney's Grove Road. It's just it is where it is. It's where it's been for many, many years, and there's rights to pass over it, but there's no math like there are on all the streets around here. So it's not a right-of-way that's definable. It's deeded rights over an existing way.
Tell you what, let's get staff report. Ms. Owen, you want to help us out with some clarity here, as well as the status of Whitney Grove Road?
Sure, thank you. As the applicant stated, they're requesting a variance to allow construction of a single-family dwelling on a lot which does not have frontage on a town-approved public street. This is a pre-existing non-conforming lot of record with frontage on Whitney's Grove Road, which is a private Class 6 road not maintained by the town. The property is located in the low-density residential zoning district, which requires a minimum 200 feet of frontage along an approved public street. Therefore, the variance is being requested this evening. If approved, as the applicant stated, the future dwelling would be serviced by a private well and private septic. As the law states today, per RSA 674:41, a notice of waiver of municipal liability and responsibility must be recorded with the deed, as well as town council authorization to issue the building permit. If approved, based on the plan layout on the proposed plan that we have in front of us this evening, I believe a shoreline permit would be required to construct the proposed attached garage, and then appropriate permits and inspections would be required as normal. So for this lot, as the applicant was stating, this is an existing deeded access similar to what we had witnessed for the property to the west. The way that Whitney's Grove is right now is it's a gravel drive, you know, it's a one-way access pretty much and private street. So this deeded access allows, it's basically at the corner of their lot, but allows the access through their lot to access 17 and continue on to the lot to the west as well.
And I think that's what I was looking for to Mr. Tripp's question, which was that Whitney's Grove Road is Class 6, and I think
Correct.
I was trying to get a handle on that. Anything else?
That is it. Thank you.
Any questions from the board on that?
So what kind of frontage does it have on Whitney Road?
It does.
I know Whitney Road's not an official road. I'm
Right.
just trying to figure out the.
It's.
If you want, we can direct that to Mr. Wing.
Okay.
It has essentially a point of access. It has, like I mentioned, it's not a real right-of-way, so it just has access across that property. It is not defined or clear at all in the deeds. So it has access from Whitney Grove, over and across Whitney's Grove and to it.
Yes,
But
like
as far
what's-
as frontage,
Yes.
no frontage. It doesn't have frontage on it, really. It just has access to and from it. So the frontage, I think, could be argued the frontage may be as wide as the proposed driveway, or whatever you might want to say.
So just for clarity, the application is to allow the construction of a single-family dwelling on that does not have frontage on a town-approved road.
Yeah.
And so Whitney's Grove Road is not a town-approved road. It's a private road.
got that.
So there's no access on a town-approved road.
Yes, I understand that.
So there's no frontage there at all.
Yeah. All right.
Anything, Ms. Owen, I might have missed there?
No, that was a good
Okay.
way to state it. Thank you.
So you all set, Mr. Dragani?
Yeah.
Okay, good enough. Mr. Donlin, anything?
Not at this time.
Mr. Henry?
I'm all set, thank you.
Mrs. Moore, anything?
I don't have any.
Okay. Mr. Wing, you have anything else to add?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's an existing lot of records since 1970, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Emphasis on that. All right, well, let's make a call to public.
May I add one more thing, though? The lot was created in 1970, but the rights to that section, the lots were made smaller in 1970, but the property that was there had deeded rights as well, back to like 1920-something, I believe.
When God made the lake.
Right.
Got it. All right. Well, let's make a call to public. Anybody wishing to speak favorably to this application, this would be your opportunity to come forward. We have one individual, and I think this is your client.
Yeah.
Should we allow him to speak?
Sure.
All right. Mr. Lannon, have a seat.
Yeah, I'm the owner of the property.
Have a seat, and I'll let you introduce your name for the record.
Stephen Lannon,
Okay,
owner of the property.
got it.
And, when I purchased the piece of land in hopes, I bought 2 pieces of land, and one in hopes to put a house on there for my daughter when I was there. So my concern was more when I had one neighbor come up and voice their concerns about traffic on the road, and it'll be a very low impact. It's going to be my daughter, her husband, and the kids. And I don't see any more than that. You know, it's summer traffic we're going to see. When I drive in and out of that road, I may see a car every 5 times in and out. It's lack of traffic. I work in maintenance on the road. Every time there was snow, my truck plowed on that road. I've limbed those trees in that road so snow limbs wouldn't come down. So I'm definitely there to help. That's what I know how to do, is work. And I just hope we can get this through. It's a variance to get access to the lot.
Mr. Tripp, you brought something to attention. This is the owner of the property?
Yep.
Yep.
Did he give us this address?
Well, what's your actual legal address?
23 Whitney's Grove Road.
Very good. And this is for 17 Whitney's Grove Road?
Correct.
Yep. All set, Mr. Tripp?
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. And so I think prior on the January 8th case, there was questions raised about maintenance or shared maintenance or whatever. I'm sure you have access to some gravel or stone once in a while?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. And so it sounds like you're already participating towards that, all right? Any other questions from anybody on the board? Seeing none, okay. Let's make a call to opposition. Anybody else here to speak favorably? Okay. All right. We're going to have you guys take a step back, and you'll have an opportunity to rebut, correct? And so anybody in opposition to this application may come forward at this time. Oh, yeah, come right over, sit right down.
Hi, my name's Wendy Schoenberger. I live at number 15 Whitney Grove. We've been there since 1989, so maybe 34 years. I have a number of issues to bring up, but first I'd like to comment on a few of the questions that I can answer for you in regard to the road and comments from tonight. Let's see, the first one would be that I know without question that when that house was for sale last summer.
The house or the lot?
At number 23, which at the time it was 17/23, and I will explain that, but there was never any implication that a home could be built on that property. On that property. It was said that you could potentially build a 30 by 50 foot, I think they called it a shed, which was implying a garage. I know that because I looked into the property, I was watching it carefully throughout. I was there at the time 5 years earlier when that house was built, and I was there at the time 3 years before that when it came up in town auction. So
when you say the house, are you talking about the house on this lot that the application's for?
Well, that's what I want to
7?
explain, is that number 17 and 23 were one unit, and the reason that number 23 was allowed to build a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,400 foot, whatever it is, home there is because the septic tank and I believe the well, I'm not sure about that, is all on number 17, which is now where they want to build another home. They split that property off last year, but it was very clear. If you look it up on Zillow, using the S, because the road is called Whitney's as plural now, you will see that on there clearly. And when it was created in 1970, it was a cottage at number 23 with 17, I believe, attached to it just until last year. Number 19 was approved in January for a year-round home to be built on it, but that lot is about 2.5 acres as compared to this lot, which is really only 1 acre, but it already is part of a variance of the 2 lots that they have put together equaling 1.7 acres that they already have this large home on, and they already used the variance for 17 to make that happen because they needed the septic system there.
All right, so I just need to be clear, because you're talking about a bunch of different Whitney's Grove addresses. So the one here on the application is for 17 Whitney's Grove.
Yep.
The other one that was associated with it was 23?
23, which is where the Lannons live right now.
Okay.
Very nice neighbors. And number 19 is the lot that's behind that, that's on the lake, and that has been up for sale for about 5 years, and it got the permit in here in January, and it did close. It did, in fact, belong to the Russells for years and years, and it now belongs to John Mason. He's a builder. He has a 4-bedroom, I believe, permit, and he's going to build and sell. He's in construction. So there's a lot of concerns that are coming from me. You did mention that the driveway situation, the condition of the road and everything that came from another neighbor, the cars, they actually said they don't feel that they needed to come tonight because they were sure you guys wouldn't forget about them and their concerns with the road. So let's see, the first concern and the biggest concern that my husband and I have, and he's here too if you want to hear from him, but is a fire hazard. The way the road works, Whitney's Grove is actually a half-a-mile long road, and that half-a-mile road goes all the way up to the top to Island Pond Road. So the lot that we're talking about tonight, number 17, not only has a septic field and all of the attached items that need to go with the septic field, but it also has a right-of-way on it that takes number 19 from Whitney's Grove into their lot, because that is landlocked without that right-of-way. So this 1-acre lot that we have, which I think is about 43,500 feet, already has a septic on it, already has an obligation to duplicate that septic system exactly according to state laws. I don't remember the number, but I think I might have it in the back if you need it. So assuming that that's at least 2,000 or 3,000 feet, then there's another 2,000 or 3,000 feet gone from that. There are several rights-of-way on our road. There's the property at number 1, there's a right-of-way for all of us to go across their lot or land, 35 feet wide to get to number 3, which then has a right-of-way. And then to number 21, which has a right-of-way, and that's where the road cuts off. And when it cuts off, I don't know if they stick with number 21 or number, the car resident, whatever number that is, which is probably 20 or something like that in there. And then my part of Whitney Grove is the one that goes straight on down to the lake from there. So my house is on kind of the bottom, due south of that red spot. So when you go down there, there's 3 houses. One of them says Proden Technologies, and there's one more. And my biggest concern is a fire hazard. And where you have that pointer right at this moment, sometime about, I'm going to guess 6 or 7 years ago, that house caught on fire. There was a little boy living at the house. He was maybe 14 years old at the time. I think he's 20 or 21 now, so maybe it's 7 years ago. The house caught fire. He came running over to our house. We had snow. Thank God my husband and my son were at home. We were all sitting in the kitchen. He's banging on our slider. My house is on fire. My house is on fire. I immediately called 911. My husband and my son immediately ran over to that residence. My son, just by a strange coincidence, had just finished that Fire Academy number 2 training as a teenager, and they went over there and they got that fire under control. They brought the mother or the wife of that residence over to my house, and I kept an eye on her because she was all burnt up. It was a horrifying night, and the fire department, when they arrived at that house, it was a dryer fire. But when they arrived at that house, they said to everyone, if my husband and my son hadn't been there, not only would that house have gone down, but we would have lost the whole area. You can see all the trees there. The ambulance had to come. She had burns all the way up her arms on both sides. She wasn't back in the house for 3 to 6 months. She didn't work for months. It was a really devastating time for all of us, even us next door, because it's impossible to think of getting to the water when I know that you see the lake is right there, but when it's cold out, if there's ice, et cetera, et cetera. And we're talking about just kind of around the corner from us, because number 19 that you gave the permit on in January is right next to my property. It has been vacant for 40 years or more. And with that in mind, so kind of where the red spot is, there's dead wood all over the place. I'm sure it'll be cleaned up somewhat. And all of that area, there's a lot of land up there. It's just a fire waiting to happen. And with that in mind, we're all terrified at the bottom. You can see if a fire truck comes down just at your, right there, and it turns left in there. If fire trucks get backed up there, because there's only room for one vehicle to go in there, we're not going to be able to get out. We will have no chance of survival unless we and our family jump in a lake. That's it. And once that place burns down, it's not just rebuild your house. We're talking about it could be all trees there burnt out and having no home. So that's my biggest concern. There's already going to be a right-of-way across this number 17 lot that is going to allow number 19 to get in and out. And it's already being a very congested area down there. So first we'll talk about that. And then the next item of safety concern to me is the blind spots and traffic. It's a half a mile single lane road up and down, and I know Steve goes out early in the morning. He says he doesn't happen to see anybody when he comes and goes, but just today I went halfway up the road and Steve was there coming down, and there was also a neighbor that he was talking to, which is fine, but I had to sit there and wait while they finished their conversation, and then I had to wait in the one area that there is, it's kind of at the halfway point, for us to pass each other, because there's no room on the road for us to pass. But it doesn't just happen with people talking to the neighbors. It happens with the UPS, you name all the trucks that are coming down, the dump truck, the water delivery. It just goes on and on and on. And it could be that we're keeping different hours, but there is a lot of traffic on the road. As a matter of fact, when in 1985, when the road was built, there were 3 year-round homes and there were a couple of cottages on the road. Right now, we have 24 drivers on the road. We are talking about one more house, but one more house is setting precedent for another family that owns 14 acres there. Are we going to let them build 12 more houses on a road that's single lane? I mean, it's out of control there as it is. So with all of that, we have had very serious accidents, especially in the wintertime on the road. I personally was driving up the hill, and it was icy, but it wasn't a storm or anything. And as I was going up the main hill, another neighbor, she's from number 11, was driving in, and I saw that she was sliding on the ice. I threw my car in reverse and went down the hill, and during the time I was driving down the hill, she hit a rock, she flipped up in the air, her car landed on my hood, and it fell to the ground in front of me, and while it was on the ground, it crushed, and she could barely crawl out, and she still is having surgeries today after about 8 to 10 years. I had a child in the car at the time, and if she landed on the roof, we would have both been dead. And I know that you think, well, you never run into anybody, but that day we ran into somebody. And also the guy that lives at number 13, he came over the other hill, which is all blind spots, and I do have pictures on my phone if there's a way to show them. But as he came over the hill and I was coming up the other hill, he turned off and he slid about 30 or 40 feet into the woods. My husband came up with a big tractor, and even with the tractor, they couldn't get him out of there because it was so deep in.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you there because
Okay.
I appreciate the anecdotes and the excitement on Whitney's Grove Road that goes on, but I want to focus on something you opened up with, which was the septic system. So understand that in the guidelines that this board's looking at, a lot of times whether or not the property can be developed, built on, and acquire a permit becomes the most substantial point of this, okay? But that aside, what I'm gathering from your testimony is that you feel like the area is full at this point, and that anybody else with property that has not had the fortune of developing it or using it to its reasonable use, that the barrel's full and nobody else should be able to use that. Am I correct?
Well, I think that if somebody has a 3-acre lot, which is the requirement in our area, that shouldn't be a problem. But if we're approving 1-acre lots with a lot of acreage or land that's not available on that 1-acre lot, then we're kind of opening it up to people making half-acre lots. I don't think it's going to increase the value. As far as it goes with that house right now, or I want to say with that land, right now there's a septic on that land for 3-bedroom, 3-bath, which is at number 23, but that's where 23 got its approval to build with a variance because of this piece of land. And if they're allowed to build another one, in addition to the boundary buffer that a septic tank has to have, or a septic field, they have to have, let's see, 75 feet from the lake and wetlands. There's a lot of wetlands.
So again, I don't want to stop you,
Okay.
but I want to kind of abbreviate this a little bit. They can't get a permit if they don't meet the things that you're requiring, that you're speaking of. And so if this board were to grant their application, they still have to get those items in line in order to get the building permit.
Okay.
Now, the acreage issue is not noted here. What is the size of this lot?
So based on the plans we have, it's 1.1 acres.
I see, okay.
Okay. And does it say that they have to give a right-of-way to number 19 on it, which we have right-of-ways to a couple of different people through our property, and it's 35 feet for the length of it. I don't know what that length would be. I'd say it's more than 100 feet.
So will we require a municipal waiver of liability on this?
Absolutely.
And that's going to be a condition to this if it
That is a
goes through,
condition, correct. Yep.
The requirement in this area is 3-acre zone?
Correct.
Yep.
But this is 1 acre.
It's a pre-existing non-conforming lot of record. Yep.
Okay.
There is a state-approved septic design as well on record for this
On
lot.
record. And that's relatively new, it's not expired?
That
Oh,
is-
it's for number 23.
No. I can't find the date clearly in front of me, but looks like it's dated March 19th, 2026.
Okay. And we'll let the applicant rebut this. We really don't want to get into car accidents. It's not significant.
No, I don't.
here.
I
If you wanna
especially don't want the
abbreviate it by-
teenagers to-
Hang on a minute. If you want to abbreviate it by talking about just the safety of the road and the narrowness, that's fine, we get that. But, hearing about each accident and whatnot probably is
Okay.
not pertinent, okay? I'm going to hold you there for a second. Does the acreage size on this matter?
No.
Okay. All right. Why don't you go ahead and finish up your points?
I will.
If you can stay to those
Okay.
that are significant to what this board has purview over,
Okay. So if there's a driveway that's coming out onto a public road, you generally want 200 feet visibility on each side, and we have impossible situation up there that maybe you can see 10 or 15 feet one way and 30 the other
Okay,
way.
so let me hold you there.
And I know
Let
it's a
me hold
private
you-
road.
Wait a minute. I'm going to hold you there.
Okay.
Ms. Owen, does the sightline issue for driveways apply on non-town approved roads?
No, it does not.
All right, very good. All right, please proceed.
Okay. So It is wetlands. We are in a drought right now, and you don't really see that if you look at it, but it has been expected for number 19, the property behind, when they make their right-of-way, that it may even need to be a bridge on a wet year. I'm not in any way familiar with what their permits have been at this point, but it definitely is wetlands, so that has to fit, and the septic tank. And
So just so you know, wetlands delineation will apply with the septic permit.
okay.
Okay?
Yep. And so I'm just going to close out, in the spirit of the ordinance, would be to allow a home to be built on less than 3 acres in our part of town. This land has already been used as for a variant to build another home. It already has the septic plus the second identical area for that home. It has the right-of-way. It has shoreline restrictions. Access to the road is dilapidated and not maintained. So we already have about 10 houses, and we have no agreement on this road. And I don't see any way in the near future or the distant future that we're going to figure this out about having two-way traffic. And we don't think it is in our best interest to have another small home thrown into that area, because it's already pretty congested down there. So I don't think that the property values are going to change over this in a positive way. But I do think that if an approval comes in for a lot like this, that is not only an acre, but it has all these other things going on, it degrades the whole intention of the 3 acre or even 1 acre property minimum in this town. So,
Okay. Anything
thank you
else?
for your time.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Mr. Tripp?
So you made the statement that there's no agreement on this access road for you to be able to use it?
Well, I don't mean an agreement to use it. We have right-of-way across all of those different pieces of land we talked about. It's an agreement with the people who live on the road now to maintain it. So even though there's big ruts, there used to be 3 houses, we'd all pitch in, we'd do what needed to be done, but there's several people living there now, and nobody chooses to agree on anything. We wanted to even put in mailboxes, and nobody could agree on $50 each for mailboxes.
But you have written permission to use that road?
It's written right away to cross those people's land.
So it's
but
a cross and recross type easement?
Say it again?
This is a cross and recross easement?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's a actual right-of-way. I'm not sure what you mean by easement instead of right-of-way.
Okay.
But it's in our deed that we can get back and forth.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was wondering. If it's in the deed, it's in the deed.
Yep.
And it's registered, and you can get it, you can prove that you have
right.
permission. Thank you.
Anybody else? I think you're all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak in opposition of application 26-111? All right, seeing nobody else rise. Gentlemen, if you'd like to come back up, you can rebut.
Yes, I would like to address some of the issues. It was mentioned that these 2 lots were one lot, and that they were separated recently. They've been separate map and lot numbers since the 70s, since 1970. No new lots were created. The septic is a shared septic, and I have received state construction approval for another one. The new one, the state really is cracking down on septics. There's a really big rewrite of the rules, which took effect of February of this year. And lot loading, I'm not sure if many or any of you are familiar with lot loading. Lot loading requires a certain amount of land or area for a certain amount of gallons per day of effluent. 2,000 gallons per day, 1 acre with perfect soils and perfect slope can take 2,000 gallons of effluent a day. To meet that requirement, you remove well radii, easements, steep slopes, ledge, very poorly drained soils, all of that stuff. And what you have left is the amount of area you can do a septic in. I have proven out the lot loading for this lot, including the load of the abutting lot where my client lives, the three-bedroom. The lot's septic sizing by the state is done by bedrooms. So this lot can support the existing septic from my client's current dwelling and what we are proposing. And I have received state construction approval for that. It was mentioned that rights-of-way existed across this property. You'll notice if you look at the plan I show them, there's not one but two, one in either end. I had to remove those areas to meet lot loading. So we're not proposing any construction or impedance on those easements at all. Those are free and clear. And the lot immediately to the east of this, which received variance in January, they are in fact using that easement as their access, proposed access. The fire concern, I can't disagree with that, right? None of us can disagree with that. It would be difficult for a fire truck to get down there and turn around. But as is required by statutory rule, this sort of thing has to sign like a hold harmless document and record it. So that will be recorded.
The municipal waiver of liability.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Site distance, Mrs. Owen mentioned that that's not relevant to a non-approved town road. The wetlands on the lot, I'm a wetland scientist, and I did delineate the wetlands per the Army Corps of Engineer regulations, and per state regulations, and we are meeting all of the required distances and separations from the wetlands.
So the geography now is separated, the topography, I guess, prior to your loading calculations for your leaching system. I think that's what you were saying?
I removed all of the things I needed to remove area-wise, and what's remaining, that's what I do my calculations from.
And that calculation does not include this other speculative lot that your client currently owns?
It does include it, because there is a shared septic with easement on the subject property.
I see.
They pump from 23, which is on the water. If you look at your plan, 23 is to the right side on the plan.
Okay.
By the north arrow. That's where my client lives. His septic pumps up to this lot. There's a little dash dot line right above the proposed garage. That's the existing septic field. We are, I don't know if you have the new septic design. I included it. But
yes, we do.
Okay, that you'll see the new design between the proposed garage and the proposed house, which is, it allows all the room required for the current septic as well. And the lot does support both by rule.
And I can see your elevations off to the left of that plan.
Yes.
It would be your slope.
The ones
separate
that
from the leach field.
Yes.
Yep. And is that slope that's depicted there on the left lower corner of your septic plan, is that actually going in the direction of the lake?
That was an area that was excavated. It's
And I'm not trying to get...
The bottom of the house right there is the lower part of that. Is that what you're asking?
Well, I'm curious to orientation, that's all. I'm not trying to override your license.
The further left you go on the plan, the more uphill it goes.
Okay, got it. All right. That's just my orientation.
Yeah, they're tricky sometimes.
Yep, okay. Thank you.
And then it was mentioned that there was a concern about contribution to the maintenance of the road. My client does contribute, I think, significantly to the maintenance of that, so, and I trust that that will continue. Many of you know who the Lannons are there.
Just off the side note, right, is there any way, because Whitney's Grove Road is, somebody said was only a half mile from Island Pond Road? Looks like it could be a little longer than that.
I truly don't know that. I can't answer to that. If she said that it's a half hour, I'm sure it is. I mean, half hour.
Mile.
Half a mile. Yeah, been a long day.
And are there any plans or discussions, I don't want to say to form an association, but to start to deal with this stuff?
I haven't heard of any. This sort of thing isn't allowed anymore by any board because of this. So any sort of subdivision that occurs that's privately owned and maintained, there has to be some sort of association.
Right.
But the ones that are old, that have been around for 100 years, they aren't like that. So I have not heard if there are plans. It would behoove the people to have one, but it's hard to commit.
All right.
You know, I can understand that.
Well, and just trying to nip at that safety issue, the fire issue that's brought up, and, you know, these lots were around for a long time. It's not like they were a bunch of bare land that you're just carving into separate sections now. And so that's, you know, kind of understood that the term is a reasonable use, and where it's a lot of record. That essentially kind of establishes that, right?
And deeded rights exist to access it.
Okay. Anything else you want to?
I don't believe so. I think I hope to address all the issues, and to be clear, I have no problem that these were brought up at all.
Okay.
I wanna make sure that I address them, so if I've missed anything that was mentioned, you can remind me and I'll try to speak to it.
I think we've looked at all of it, the questions that the abutter brought up. So unless, Mr. Trugani, you have anything?
Well, I guess my question is, like, how much housing can you put on a road that is at this stage? I mean, you're saying, you mentioned that we would, you know, just because those lots are there, are we filling them all up, or is there a limit to how wide and how big that road is?
Well, essentially, you've got the key points here are that this is a lot of record. And so someone owns a parcel there that dates back 50 years or so. And it's on a path, a little more than a path, Class 6 road, that has been known as the access point to all these parcels. And to look at this in a way that you might be raising your question suggests that these folks would have to abandon their parcel.
No, I'm not saying that they would have to abandon a parcel, but at one point when the road is a regular sized road, it could accommodate more. It doesn't mean that it's abandoned, it just might mean it's not a usable portion at this point.
Yeah, and I may mistaken where your question was going, but essentially, when you're raising that question, how many more buildings can you put on this road? If there's lots of record, each lot has its right to come forward and ask for that relief.
Okay, and just my clarification and just understanding, when these were made 50 years ago, we had no idea what they would put on them, correct?
Say that again?
Well, these lots were made 50 years ago with the intention of having them as, cabins, seasonal, or were they intentions of having a full-fledged home on that lot? I guess that's just what I was just trying to figure out.
If I take you back 100 years or so, when the nation was growing and the government was giving out parcels, I'm thinking back then, nobody in the right mind knew what was coming 100 years later. So in that regard, I don't know that people had a necessary plan. I'm sure back in did you say the early 1900s these things were formed?
Yeah, I have it back to the 20s, yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of guys went out on a weekend, dug a ditch, it became Island Pond, and somebody said, let's grab a piece of land there, we can go camping on the weekends, you know?
I guess that's my point.
Yeah.
If new lots are created, the road, the town would require the road to be upgraded to current standards. But existing lots, like Mr. Perkins mentioned, that, you know, each one has the right to come and ask for this variance. If a new lot's created, then it's a different game.
Yeah, I mean, the planning process, right? If somebody came in and said, we want to grab this 25 acres out here on the road edge, on the pond edge, and put in a 10-house development, the planning board would say, well, start digging your road because you're not going to get it on a Class 6 road.
Okay, that's where my question was going.
All right.
Oops. I got a question.
Mr. Tripp?
Is there utilities provided out there, electric?
Electric, yes, and private well and septic on the lot.
Yeah, but, you know,
Yeah, there's electric down through there, yes.
All right.
Anybody else? Down on my left, Mr. Donlin?
Just to be clear, there's no, everything else about the garage and the house, and you elaborated on the septic in great detail, thank you. Everything else about this is conforming to setbacks and wetland setbacks and all that. The only variance we're talking about right now is the lack of road frontage, correct?
Yes.
All set, Mr. Donlin?
I am.
Mr. Henry, anything from you?
I'm all set, thank you.
All right, Mr. Obimba?
All set.
Okay. All right, I think we're all set, and if you have nothing else, we can take a motion to go into deliberation.
Thank you.
You're all set.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Tripp. As the motion, Mr. Donlin makes the second. Mrs. Boudreau? All right, and all in favor of deliberation, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Any opposed? Hearing none. All right, so we know we're going to add a condition, municipal waiver of liability. Could be presumed that would be part of the permitting and inspections aspect of this, but I want to make that separate. That would, of course, get registered with the deed. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about here? Mr. Dragani, you asked, good question. Anything that you have questions about that you wish to speak to?
No, I think we answered all my questions.
All right. Mr. Tripp, you know, there's a reference to the January 8th hearing on an abutting lot. You had a lot of questions similar to those that you asked one of the abutters. Any concerns there that you see you need to address?
Well, the thing is, since it is a lot of record, then they have, there's no restrictions other than codes on them being able to build a house, you know, and as you mentioned, the only thing the variance the applicant is asking for is a variance for no frontage on a public road. So it's one of these things that when somebody wants to buy this, they should be aware of the limitations of, you know, getting to the property, you know, transportation-wise, you know, and weather-wise, you know.
And I think in this regard, it was mentioned that the owners currently live there. I think it suggested that the subdivision, or not the subdivision, but the use of the abutting lot is maybe for one of the children. But often in a listing, if a real estate sale, you would see those points implied, but certainly someone that would look at an image on the multiple listing service and say, well, I'm going to go look at this house, and then they drive down this road and they'd probably figure it out. So.
Yeah, well, the other thing that I was thinking is, somebody mentioned that septic tanks are built to number of bedrooms they have to supply to. And I think somebody said that the one lot has a building with 4 bedrooms on it, and this one is going to be 3 bedrooms, so something I should ask the applicant was, is the existing tank, which is going to be shared, suitable for 7 bedrooms?
Go ahead.
Mr. Donald?
The way I understood that was that there's an existing septic area on this lot that is servicing the other house, 23, as we were referring to it, and there's a whole new leaching field and septic system that will service this proposed 3-bedroom dwelling and proposed garage.
And I think what I had heard off of that also is that the application for this septic is shared, and but all the design criteria and lot loading, the loading for the bedrooms
are separate.
Both components are part of this design.
Oh,
And understanding that the septic design is, it's a good narrative that creates understanding for the board, but it's the permitting itself is not in our purview.
Yep.
Only to know that it can be done. Anything else?
no?
Mr. Donlin, anything?
Yeah, I got a few points. I think that there needs to be a emphasis on the major distinction between an existing non-conforming lot and a new subdivided lot off of a different parcel. To me, that's a huge distinction. As in, so if this was hypothetically one 4-acre lot and they were trying to carve a 1-acre lot out of it, I would see this in a completely different light than an existing non-conforming lot that's been there for, let's just say, 50-plus years.
Sure. And so you would just prefer clarity down the road, I guess?
I just wanted to bring that up for anybody who was listening.
Okay.
I guess I would have one more thing to say.
Mr. Tripp?
The lady that was up here speaking, she said that her access was recorded in her deed. I guess I would have to ask, is this lot's access recorded in its deed?
I would get the sense that Whitney's Grove, as it's Class 6, and I'm guessing, but we could come out of protocol if you wanted to ask the question, but the Whitney's Grove, as it's a deeded access, or is a Class 6 is probably the deeded access for all these parcels when they were created.
Well, the thing is, it appears that this lot, which is 16-3, has access from 16-15 to Whitney's Grove. So would it have in its deed that it would get that access across 16-15 to Whitney's Grove?
When I'm looking on their deed that we have in our files, it does say crossing lot 15 and 16 on their deed.
Oh, all right.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Dragani. You good there, Mr. Tripp?
I am.
Okay. And so, Mr. Dragani, anything else from you?
No, I think Donnelly helped clarify it. Thank you.
Okay, and Mrs. Moran, you're all set?
No, I had just one thing to go off of what Mr. Donnellan said. It is the pre-existing non-conforming lot of record, but the town did own it just 10 years ago, and nothing changed when it sold, so I just want to make that point, to have
Okay.
that on the record, that it was town-owned only 10 years ago.
Okay. All right. So in my regard, and have gone down this road myself in the past, usually lots of record that are historic insulate themselves from some of the normal criteria, updated zoning ordinances that may commonly surround development of property. And overall, I'm not seeing a conflict with this. We've granted this, as Mrs. Moran has just indicated, the town owned this property 10 years ago. They sold that the town sold it off by their right, and so that right should be perpetual to the next owners. Structuring the motion, we have subject to obtaining all state and town permits and inspections. The second condition on that would be a municipal waiver of liability. The board does not hold any delegation here to address maintenance of this road. It's a private road, Class 6 road, so that's not in our purview. Does anybody else have any other conditions they see appropriate on this motion before we come out of deliberation?
No, I think where it's already a lot of record.
Very good. No gestures there, so in that case, let's come out of deliberation. Give me a motion, Mr. Dragani.
Yeah, I motion to come out of deliberation.
Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Donlin.
Yours to read from. Can I read from yours?
Sure. Yep. There you go. All in favor of coming out of deliberation, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mrs. Moran, you have a motion to read.
I do, thank you. I make a motion on case number 26-111, Promised Land Survey, LLC, to grant a variance as provided in Article 3, Section 165-9 of the Town of Derry zoning ordinance and New Hampshire RSA 674.41 to allow the construction of a single-family dwelling on the lot which does not have frontage on a town-approved street, on a town-not-approved street. Parcel ID 15016-003, zoned LDR, as presented with the following conditions. We have two. 1, subject to obtaining all state and town permits and inspections. 2, it will require a municipal waiver of liability, and that concludes the reading of the motion. I need a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Tripp. That puts that motion on the table. I'm sorry, on the floor. That's like saying water over the bridge, right? All right, finding of fact for case number 26-111. Heard May 7th, 2026, the ZBA heard the application of Promised Land Survey, LLC, on behalf of S&T nominee trust concerning the property located at 17 Whitney's Grove Road, parcel ID 15016-003. Notice was provided to the immediate abutters per statute. The board received testimony from the applicant, legal counsel, town staff, if appropriate it is, and abutters and members of the public. Documentary evidence included, but was not limited to, site plans, photos, records, and expert testimony. This is a pre-existing non-conforming lot of record with frontage on Whitney's Grove Road, a private Class 6 road that is not maintained by the town. Property is located in the low-density residential zoning district. This district requires a minimum of 200 feet of frontage frontage along an approved public street. Therefore, a variance is being requested. If approved per RSA 674:41, a notice of waiver of municipal liability and responsibility must be recorded with the deed. Town council authorization is required to issue the building permit. The board weighed testimony both for and against the proposal. And I've messed up the order here of our documents that are usually very well prepared until I get my hands on them. So in regards to the board's findings of fact on the contrary to the public interest, Mr. Donlin, what say you in that regard?
Give me 1 second. I've already put my notes away.
Do you find this meets the public interest?
I do find it meets the public interest. I don't see it as contrary, as it's in keeping with the established neighborhood, for lack of a better term.
Okay. Mr. Dragani, how do you sit on the public interest?
I don't see any controversy with it.
No conflicts?
No conflicts.
Very good. Mr. Tripp?
As the witnesses said, this is a area that is fairly built up. You know, it's one of those things that the addition of one more house is not going to have that big of impact.
All right. The chair sees the public interest in this regard is met as it grants use of the property as the lot of record would intend. Mrs. Moran?
I agree where there's no new access is being provided.
Very good. Spirit of the ordinance, Mr. Donlin, you feel this meets the spirit of the ordinance?
I do, as is an existing non-conforming lot, and they're not asking for relief in any dimensions or anything else, just the road.
Very good. Mr. Dragani?
I agree with Donlin.
Okay. Mr. Tripp?
As Mr. Donlin said, this is the only variance they're requesting. They're otherwise compliant to the town's ordinances.
Okay. Mrs. Moran?
Chair, I agree with what has been stated already, that it is within the spirit.
Okay. I would concur, the spirit of the ordinance is met as the parcel is dated lot of record, although it is non-conforming just to the later ordinance developments in the community. Substantial justice. I'm going to lead with that. The substantial justice is met as the parcel can be developed as the intention that it was developed as a lot of record. Mr. Donlin?
I agree. That's what my notes reflect as well, a lot of record.
Mr. Dragani?
I agree also.
Mr. Tripp?
What you said.
Okay,
Do you want me to say lot of record for you again?
that would be fine. Mrs. Moran?
I agree with what has been stated where it is an existing lot of record.
Okay. Substantial justice. Did I just do the substantial
Yes.
justice?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I'm writing in the names as we go of who's in attendance and trying to keep the 5 criteria separate.
We're on number 4.
We're on number 4.
The value of surrounding properties.
Okay, thank you. Value of surrounding properties, thank you. Mr. Donlin, do you find the value of surrounding properties will be affected?
I feel that the value of the surrounding properties will not be diminished.
Okay.
Generally speaking, the new construction tends to add values to surrounding properties as well as the cleanup and whatever else you have to do to the lot to construct the home as well. Tends to clean up some debris and other things that kind of pile up in the woods over time.
Okay. Mrs. Moran?
Chair, I agree that with new construction, it tends to increase value.
Okay. I would say that substantial justice is done because I'm sorry, is that where we're at?
No,
Value of surrounding properties occurs because the development of this lot will help address some of the concerns that the abutter had relative to traffic and fire hazard and safety, that the land will start to be cleaned up, whereas before it was isolated and was not so maintainable. Likely, I also see that due to the testimony, participants occupying this area will help increase the maintenance of the Class 6 road. Mr. Tripp?
Well, I think one of the good things that comes out of this is when you have one more person using the limited access, there's a possibility that people will get together and maybe improve the access.
Who did I?
That would be me.
Mr. Dragani? Okay, go ahead.
I agree with Mr. Tripp. More people that can have access can maybe help improve that road as well, so it
Very
does not
good.
diminish the values.
I have all 5 people on record on that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Hardship is demonstrated because, Mr. Donlin?
Literal enforcement of the provision, in this case, again, I'm going to go to the lot of record or existing non-conforming. There's no way, there's no 200 feet to be had. It's just what it is in this area.
Okay. Mr. Tripp?
Well, that's, I would agree that there's no way that you can get 200 feet line of sight or frontage. So the only way it could be developed would be to give a variance to this particular ordinance code.
Mrs. Moran?
Chair, I agree where it would essentially be landlocked without it.
Very good. Mr. Dragani?
And I would say because it's an existing lot, it's non-conforming, but that's its hardship to be able to be developed.
Yeah, so I find that unnecessary hardship applies here as the parcel is so isolated at a time when development is necessary in our region, that this substantiates that and allows proper use of the parcel. I think that concludes all 5 of the 5 criteria for the finding of fact.
You need to say the proposed use is a reasonable one.
I'm sorry again?
Do you need to add that the proposed use is a reasonable
No,
one?
I think we addressed the 5 adequately. Those are a lot of times either or. So in this regard, you have my motion, right?
It's right here.
Yep, that's fine. Okay, so the motion's been read. All in favor of moving that for a vote, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Mr. Dragani?
Yes.
Mr. Donlin?
Yes.
Mr. Tripp?
Yes.
Mrs. Moran?
Yes.
And the chair will make that unanimous by a vote of 5-0, so congratulations. Your application has been approved. Anybody aggrieved by this has 30 days to ask this board for reconsideration. After that would be to Superior Court. Okay? Have a good evening. And welcome, Mr. Corbett.
Hello.
Good evening.
You guys are all speaking very nice in your microphones. Fun to be on that side of things, Sir Judge.
Oh, you could hear us?
Very well. I think I know where the weak link on the board is.
Well, you know, if you talk like this, then you're not speaking into the microphone.
What about back here? This doesn't.
Well, it's a good thing you're cute, otherwise you'd get rid of you. I didn't say I was cute.
All right, next up on the agenda is case number 26-107. Folks, you can sit there for right now, and just to let you know where we're at in our process, per board policies, we are going to finish up a butter rebuttal. We had taken names of people who wanted to speak to this before we adjourned the last meeting, so we're going to go there, and then you folks will have an opportunity to rebut testimony from the last prior meeting, as well as this one here, okay? That being the case, Mr. Carden, I think, as I recall, was up here. We had to suspend testimony, so at this point, that testimony is open now for hearing.
And do you want to note also for the record that Mr. Donnellan will stay on and I will not be on it?
That would be fine. Mr. Donnellan, please remain for this case.
Yes, sir.
And good evening.
Good evening. Tom Carden, 2 Cunningham Drive. You probably know I've been following this for a little over a year now. Bird Enterprise is asking for a 50-foot square pylon sign. My assumption was that the sign that was taken down back in April, my assumption was that was going to be the one that was going to be put back up. And at the last, I think it was the last meeting in May, I think they were discussing the size of it. I think Mr. Corbett came up with 42 square feet for the sign.
Which, and I'm sorry to interrupt, I was going to state this after. I was incorrect on my measurements.
What's that?
I was incorrect on my measurements last time.
You're incorrect?
So I was going to bring that up. So thank you for leading. Sorry to interrupt. It is a 60 by 120.
Oh, it was 65?
No, 60 inches by 120 inches. So I then have to do the math, but I was off on my...
All right, so that's 50 square foot?
Yes.
Okay.
And just to be clear, that's also 2 signs, one for each enterprise.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So they're essentially 60 by 60 size signs.
All right. Well, that clarifies, that gets rid of my first paragraph here.
So I do apologize for that confusion.
No, that's quite all right. I just want to make sure the information was correct. So I was kind of unsure as to exactly what a pylon sign was. So I did look up a couple of definitions of a pylon sign. A pylon sign is a tall freestanding outdoor sign supported by one or more steel or aluminum poles, typically exceeding 8 feet in height, and offer high visibility from a distance, commonly used for shopping centers, gas stations, hotels, near highways that are often internally illuminated. The other one was a pylon sign is a freestanding advertising structure supported by 1 or 2 vertical signs. The sign is prominently from the ground, often visible from across multiple lanes or intersections. This makes them particularly valuable for businesses located near high-speed roads or large parking areas. And to me, the pylon sign is really for a commercial area and definitely not for a neighborhood. And I'm not going to read one section. I'm not going to read section 165, 101.1, because I know we've all read it, but I just do want to point out 2 things. And one of it says, the sign does not exceed 24 square feet in area, and 1 unlit sign. So, clearly the ordinance wants to limit the size and the scope of signs in a neighborhood. I think the sign is contrary to the spirit of the ordinance and is not consistent with the character of the neighborhood. I know Mr. Yenico had stated in a previous meeting that there was a hardship for him not having the sign. And I thought about that last week, and I was like, if I'm looking for a facility for baseball, and I have a kid that I want him or her to access their baseball skills, I'm gonna go online and I'm gonna look for a facility that does that. So I did. So I Googled baseball training facilities in southern New Hampshire, and there was a few of them. There was one in Exeter. There was a couple in Manchester. One in Epping, Nashua, and of course in Derry. So I Googled 4 of them, and they all had pretty good ones. They all had pretty good websites. But I looked at Northeast Elite Athletics, and it stated that it empowers athletes of all ages to reach their highest potential in a supportive environment where athletes can develop skills, build character, and grow with confidence. If I'm looking for a baseball facility for my kid to go to, that's going to be the one that I'm going to look at first. I mean, they had an excellent website. I have to compliment them for that. But my point about all this is it's not going to be the sign that really is going to be the draw. You're going to look at the website. Other people, you're going to speak to people that might go there, and the website is the draw. Google Maps will get them there, and a sign certainly is going to be what they're going to look for when they finally get there. So, do they deserve a sign? Without question, I think everybody realizes they need a sign. And in all honesty, Bird Enterprise is not a bad fit for the area. I mean, I think it could be a lot worse, and I hope this sign mess gets straightened out for them sooner or later. And I do wish them the best, but I think the 50-foot, square-foot pylon sign is really not in best interest of the neighborhood. Thank you.
Hang on a second. Anybody have any questions? If the board approves this, how do you become aggrieved by it?
I can say probably not.
Okay. Well, we accept the testimony and understand we try to find direct abutters, which is usually our cue, but this question gets looked over, and being somebody that probably travels down that road frequently.
All the time.
I feel gives you a window to be able to express your feelings, and
Thank you.
I think they're articulated well. So.
No, I appreciate that. I know I'm not a direct abutter.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else? This is just opposition right now? Good evening.
Good evening. Will Davison, 1 Wishing Well Lane, direct abutter, speaking in opposition of the proposed sign. I want to be clear, I'm 100% opposed to this sign, the size of the sign. As you know, we had an opportunity to see this sign in place without the reader board for several months, without the reader board on. It did not and still does not fit the character of the neighborhood. The sign is visible for more than half of the year in my house, in my yard. I could see it clearly from many windows and in many places within my yard. And that's between November 1 and mid-May. Allowing this oversized sign of this scale simply does not make sense in this area. I also agree to testimony from several neighbors last time that we were here that this sign just does not belong here. Others have documented opposition, including Andrew and Jessica, that nearby business signs are far more reasonable in size, and these businesses have been successful within our area for decades. So the size of the sign that they have is far more reasonable. That was documented through Andrew's photos that he put in place. As a reminder, my realtor had told us that our property value has already taken a hit just simply because the business is there. They also provided a letter that the oversized sign would add additional devaluation of my property. We submitted that documentation within the original proposal. I have copies of it here to resubmit tonight, so you have that on record. I understand that this proposal may ultimately be approved. If that happens, then the board owes it to the entire town to state clearly and specifically what is being approved and how that approval satisfies the 5 requirements. I also think that the board owes to the town and the neighbors clear interpretation of what's being approved. Left to being vague already caused many problems, right? So this last time around, very vague of what was approved, very problematical to everybody. So I think, we really need to have clear definition of exactly the size of the sign, whether the sign should be backlit, the maximum brightness of the signs, who's measuring the brightness of these signs, when they get measured, how often, because we've heard testimony that there's the ability to turn it up and down now, so that could be an issue. And then the hours these signs will be illuminated. These details should not be left open to interpretation or manipulation. This concern also applies to the 2 already very large signs on the building, which I find very intrusive from my house. They're very large. I have pictures that I can provide from my yard. I still don't know exactly what was approved the first time for those signs on the building, whether they should have been backlit, how large they should have been. I don't know if any of us know what was actually approved. Having a clear definition is very paramount to make us all aware of what should be, what we're being approved tonight. So I'm a little lost in my words here. So for the reasons I asked the board to deny this request tonight, if the board chooses to approve it, then I ask that the approval be narrowly written, fully defined, and enforceable in clear terms so that residents and applicants and the town all understand exactly what is permitted. Lastly, I just want to say that the public input matters. When abutters come forward, they deserve the board's full attention and respect. I hope the concerns raised by the residents are taken seriously and reflected in the careful, transparent decisions you folks make tonight. Wasn't very happy about the last meeting and some actions that I had seen with the abutters. When they came to sit here and speak, it felt as though Didn't even feel, I saw people, your board members on their cell phone, on iPads, heads down, doodling when the abutter spoke. And it was a different story when the applicant came and spoke.
You're referring to the May 7th?
The last meeting, yep.
I think one thing you might look at is that, and I think this gets, I don't want to take you off your points because I want to address them all, but there are calculations going on as there's testimony given. It's, even now I'm writing all your points and I want to address them, but it's writing or working on the details of it.
Okay.
No one's watching the Red Sox
Okay.
for two reasons. One, because they're here, and because they're not very good this year. So,
Totally agree with that. Rough year, rough year. That concludes what I wanted to kind of say.
How many copies of the letter do you have?
I have 6.
How many?
So is this the same letter from last year? Okay, that's in the file, and
Okay, but I thought that we couldn't bring stuff from that to this,
Yeah, I'll make
because
the
we couldn't
motion.
talk about that last meeting, in
That's
this
fine.
meeting.
It's still in the file as part of the testimony, but we can accept it.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Okay.
Read it over. Yeah, can I get a second? Jim, can you second that? Second my motion to accept the document.
Second.
Thank you.
My name's Brenda Davison. I live at 1 Wishing Well Lane.
Say again?
Brenda Davison. I live at 1 Wishing Well Lane.
I still can't understand you.
Davison at 1 Wishing Well Lane.
Thank you.
Talking
Wishing well, oh. Thank you.
Again, I'm against it. I've been against it since the beginning. The whole sign, not just the message board. And I'm really having trouble trying to figure out, when I read these 5 criteria, how he's meeting those. I spent a lot of time today reading them, and I'm not sure, him saying that he's losing business, he's not going to get as many people in there, that has nothing to do with the variance. Financial gain, any of that, it's not a hardship. So I don't think that meets the criteria. It should be a land-based hardship. He has room to put a sign. He doesn't need a big, huge sign. So.
Can I get you to pause there, and I don't want to take you off your points. Your husband, Will, right, made some points. Let's work through those, and then we'll come back around, because
Okay.
I think some of what I'm hearing from your point of view, we'll come back to the board's deliberation on those points. But I'm also hearing some things that you're starting to say that may get cleared up as I address your husband's issues, okay? The view of the sign and from November to May, is that because it was lighted, or was that because of its existence?
It's huge size.
Okay. And
there's no
you are,
leaves on the trees that time either.
yeah, so you're referencing just the size overall is the biggest issue for you on that, in that time frame, that you see it.
So let me address it 2 ways. One, the current size is way too large for where we live, and it doesn't meet the character of where that sits. Secondly, the brightness of the signs when they were lit were ridiculous.
I understand. So the brightness part is why I asked for clarity on the November to May issue, which is referencing the lighting. So if there's no lighting on that sign as it sits, this is still an issue for you.
Yep.
The size is still not acceptable.
Height, and because of height, or what is the?
Girth.
Girth, okay.
You can still see it from our house.
What's girth?
The largeness of it. The
Total volume.
total volume of it, right? So it's 65 square feet, I think. What was the new math, 60?
260-inch by 60-inch signs, so it comes out to about 225 square inch, so 50 square feet total.
My drawing says 102 by 60, which is 42 and change.
Yeah, then it was
So
found out
we'll
we
have to
got-
get clarification on that after.
Yeah, because then we got, Carrie
Yeah.
pointed me to the new one to be looking at last week, because that was where I got caught up as well.
Again, this is where I'm looking for clarity, is what are we approving?
I'm presuming,
I
right?
can't hear you.
If you could lean to the mic a little bit more for Mr. Tripp.
How about now?
If I can't hear you, I'll tell you.
Thank you.
Rude.
So for right now, we'll just go that it's two 25 square foot signs.
Yep, okay.
If we hear different, we hear different from when the abutter has their second rebuttal, okay? The other signs on the building, that ship has sailed, but are you indicating that those are lit on the building as well?
Not as of today, but I would assume that once approved, probably we'll see that lights will be back on some of these signs.
Okay.
Again, I guess, I don't know clearly what's going to be approved, right? So
Right.
that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I get it. We're kind of
Or if
working
it's
through it, right?
Sure.
And your questions, your concerns, the applicant has an opportunity to rebut, which will take you back to your wife's, where she's leading and going
Sure.
towards 5 criteria and how the board evaluates it, right? And, I'm not just disregarding the broker opinion on this. I think you had indicated that when the former application for this property was presented last year, I think you felt perhaps my comments were condescending, which were not intended that way. However, the board and higher courts do allow the zoning board members to evaluate the authenticity or the reality of what's presented. Understand that the applicant as well has presented a real estate opinion that contradicts the one that you've presented. It's not being discarded, but it's
Is saying my
looked at.
property value is going to go up because the business is there?
No, but
Okay,
I
thank you,
am
thank
saying
you,
they're not,
thank you.
they're saying to you that their presentation is that it's not necessarily affected in the way that has been portrayed, all right? So it's up to the board individually to evaluate the reality of that broker opinion, right? Lastly, what I'm hearing is the signs in the building are backlit. And I think you said on the building, but I think I make that note to the backlight sign. Mr. Corbett made a point in the last meeting relative to whether or not the sign should be backlit or it should be external. I think that there was a comment indicating that Mr. Corbett may have been being derogatory to the community, but I didn't take it that way. I think Mr. Tripp has pointed out that in the planning board review, the building had been vandalized severely, fire extinguishers, and we do know this to be the case, and those images were shown at the planning board. So I think the reality is that even though Mr. Corbett wasn't going that way, the reality is that in his own experiences with small children, Halloween, kids can run off the beaten path and trip over lights. So I'm taking it back to your point, which is backlit of this current sign that we're dealing with or externally lit. Do you have an opinion on that either way?
I guess my opinion would be if there were a right-size sign with some lights kind of shining down on this sign from both sides, probably would be okay, or not popular here, but some lights in the ground pointing up to that sign.
So those are externally lit?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I just have a question. And so my fear with the external light where I brought up, and again, I just want to reiterate, my head was not, I'm looking at the pictures of the broken windows now. My head was not there when I brought that point up. I was really just, we have a projection up at Halloween. The kids just knocked one of the things over. That's where my head was going, that if this light got hit, would you be at all worried that it would then shine at your house? Because that's,
No.
to be okay, because that's honestly my number one concern with that, is that all of a sudden you have a beacon, hitting you in your living room.
And this isn't about the light. This is about the sign.
Yep. But that one separation has been the one part, but the internal, external, as we get further with it, I think there's, to your point, there's a few things that have to be weighed out here and really have to be very clearly defined before a yes or a no vote. Either way, it has to be laid out that we're voting yes or no on it. And the light is something that I would like just to have addressed. Like what we saw before is that it looks like there is a down lighting, there was internal lighting, there's a lot of lighting taking place. And now what I see is an opportunity, at least to your point, to tighten it up and now to really get this in. And before I suggest an external light, that's just really something I want to check, that we're not now putting you in a spot that if a year down the road it's there, you're not, curse me one way or another, but not because of a beacon, shining at you, is really just what I'm trying to avoid.
Sure. Sometimes you have to wear it a little bit, though. You just don't know until you don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, completely understood. And that's all I was just asking for this one.
So now that we've kind of narrowed some of these points down, Ms. Davidson, I'll give you back the floor.
I mean, another thing with the signs on the building, they're really bright. There's two. They're pretty big. And you can see those from the road quite easily.
Okay.
So does he need the big, huge pylon sign if he has those as well? No.
Could you speak into the microphone?
So.
Okay. Yeah, so it's, you're what you're getting at is that the building has lights on it. The signs on the building are lit. I think we heard testimony that suggests that that's going to be controlled. Understanding that the board's review and the issues related to the lighting being on as much as it was, not having enforcement, being able to catch up with that, was a disappointment, I think, to the board in general. So I think we're in tune to what you're saying, and perhaps the balance between the signs on the building and lights for this sign get evaluated and look at a balance for that.
No, I don't want the big sign.
I'm sorry?
I don't want the huge pylon sign.
Regardless.
I understand. Okay.
What? Oh, Jim's thing?
Yep.
Did have a question about, where'd that go? Okay, yeah. Were you going to let other people speak tonight?
This is the rebuttal for the abutters per board policy.
Would Mr. Foley be allowed to speak tonight?
No.
Okay, then I'm going to read something for him.
Okay.
Mr. Corbett was incorrect when he stated that the plaintiffs didn't prove bias during the Superior Court hearing. It was, as with so much that case, the lack of a record provided by the minutes of those hearings. The bias shown by this board is not just in the confrontational, dismissive, and argumentative manner in which the board addresses any that oppose the granting of this variance, which includes interruptions of statements, accusations of filibustering, admonishments, and anecdotal statements in arguing case law. None of these behaviors have been directed at the applicant. I believe this is a tactic to make us lose our train of thought and frustrate us in presenting our case. I would also note that only when those who opposed the application were presenting, Mr. Dietzel was on his personal device and not appearing to pay attention. It's also clear that this board is desperately trying to find theory that would allow them to get the result they want. The board, not the applicant, who has the burden of proof, brought up the issue of whether the new variance application was significantly different than the previous overturned variance request. The board focused on their own actions from the previous hearing and not the current application, claiming that they had only discussed one part of the sign and not the entire sign. This is not reflected in minutes of the previous, and at least 2 members of the previous voted against the sign. As for decision that the slightly smaller backlit oversized commercial sign being materially different from the previous sign strains credibility, as both New Hampshire Supreme cases and the New Hampshire Municipal Association handbooks make clear, minor, inconsequential tweaks, like a slight reduction in square footage, are rejected. The strange tangent by this board and not by the applicant into the planning board hearing, and in some fashion their decision creates a hardship that would allow the granting of the variance. So like Mr. Tripp, although I have no idea why this is relevant, watch the video of the planning board hearing, have read the minutes, and have reviewed the plans submitted by the applicant, except for a notation on the plans of where the old church sign was. The applicant does not bring up, nor does the planning board discuss or place into their finding any mention of an oversized backlit commercial sign for the property. The notion of how busy Hampstead Road could create a hardship is another theory raised by this board, which has no basis in law of facts. And he has copies of stuff that he would like submitted for the record. I will say I did talk to the planning board director today to ask about the sign, and she said that the sign, the old church sign, was on the plan, in that he didn't present that there was a new sign or what the new sign was going to be, and he had told her that when he knows what he's doing for a sign, they would go in front of the zoning board for it. So just to kind of clarify, because I know somebody said something about the planning board should have done it or dropped the ball or whatever, but.
I don't
So I
think
did
we
talk
said
to her
that they
today.
dropped the ball, but the site plan does show where the new sign would be, and it's on that site plan of record.
So,
Yeah, I think it just lacked the size or anything about it.
right, and
Right, we
apparently he
understand
told
that.
her that,
So in regards to the statement that you just read, let's be clear, that's not your statement, that is Mr. Foley's. What Mr. Foley doesn't seem to understand is case law Daniels v. Londonderry requires that the board engage on all points that are presented, otherwise it is applicable for remanding back to the board. And so as Mr. Foley gives his testimony, and I'm trying to stop him and so I can question certain points he's making, same way I've done with both of you, he doesn't seem to have the temperament to want to hear our questions. We don't want to rehear cases, but it's Daniels v. Londonderry that creates the path that this board engages and asks questions back and forth. And I think the false testimony of Mr. Foley, both in court and in front of this town council, and then coming up with his accusations as he does, I think that paints a larger picture.
you're saying he lied in court?
I'm saying he misrepresented points.
Okay.
Okay? I think I hope you found this engagement fair with you.
I did, but you guys, in all fairness, you interrupted him a lot.
Much different
A lot.
tonight than what
It was.
Jim was treated the other night.
Yeah. And
100%
banging and
different.
yelling and telling him he's done.
He's
and-
bringing points up that we have a right to ask him for clarity on, and he doesn't want to
Right.
hear any clarity. He's already positioned in his mind that there's some conspiracy going on versus understanding what the process is, and I'm willing to bet he doesn't even know what Daniels v. Londonderry is.
From my point of view, I just want to say, watching it unfold that night, he was interrupted several times, couldn't gain back his train of thought several times.
Right, like tonight you waited and you asked at the end.
Much
That-
different, just much
Much
different.
different.
Well, he throws a lot at you, and you're trying to bring the temperament down and engage in each of those points. I paused you and Brenda, right? So I can get clarity on Will's points.
Yeah.
And you try to digest these a little bit at a time. When there's such belligerence coming at you, it's hard to get that belligerence to put a pause, make a note of where they're at, and engage in the questions that are being presented.
Probably vice versa, too.
But I do feel like the point he was trying to make was, we're making this about a sign and not the land use and the 5 criteria that the applicant needs to meet.
Well, I think the board's going to come back around to that, but one of the comments that I made that he totally disagreed and blew off, I don't even know if he heard it, which was that these points were discussed. They did not get conveyed to the certified record, hence it goes into the next court and some of that record is skewed. I don't believe that everything that was provided in the court was accurate, but that being said, that engagement occurred, the court made its decision. And I will also say to you that relative in reflection of that decision, it's caused this board to take a larger look at this, at these ordinances. And I think you're going to hear that as we move forward.
Great.
Okay?
Can we submit this?
What do you
for
have
record?
there? Mr. Foley's statement?
Statement, and he had some,
Well, I'll tell you what, just give it to Ms. Owen, keep it with you, Ms. Owen. You can put it in the file if you'd like. I
right.
think we've heard the testimony, so.
anything more for me?
Any questions for these folks?
I know
Anybody?
Mr. Tripp has one.
Mr. Tripp?
All right.
Maybe
Well,
2.
I'd like to thank you for coming tonight and providing your testimony, because anything that we can get that clarifies what the problem is and what a possible resolution would be is appreciated. I think some of the suggestions you made about the verification method of, what the lighting is, should there be lighting, would be a good step, a step in the right direction, because typically we take testimony on, lighting, and the applicant presents expert testimony as to, what the lumens are, and when the light's going to be operated, and and we accept that. We don't question it, because they're experts, and I wouldn't know what a lumen is if I saw it. But I have a question for you. You said you're on Wishing Well Road?
Lane?
Yeah.
Wishing Well Lane Road, I'm sorry. That shows it. So this is at the rear of the property, I believe?
Say again?
The Wishing Well Lane is at the rear of the property?
It's across the street from it.
Directly across the street from the sign. Directly across the street from the building and sign.
Directly across Hampstead Road?
Yes.
Okay. So you have
Great view.
A fairly good view of it then?
Yes. This is my view from my front lawn. I'm happy to provide this for you.
Yes, can I motion to take that? I think you guys had mentioned that a couple of meetings ago. I was hoping to see that. Thank you.
That's our front lawn, our backyard.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cheetle.
All in favor of accepting the photo, say aye.
These are from the front lawn.
Standing right on my front
I have
lawn.
the
Yep.
pictures from the backyard
All right.
when it was lit.
I think one of the things that the chairman had mentioned was that we were probably half to two-thirds through one of the hearings when it was mentioned by someone that the lights were on 24 hours a day.
Yes.
Well, I don't drive down Hampstead Road a lot, so, and I rarely go out at night, so I would, and I think there's a lot of people that on the board that would concur with me that we were unaware of that. I did speak with Carrie, And she said that they never went out at night to see, so that they wouldn't know either, you know. So I think if you think that we're not listening or we're antagonistic, you know, there's things that you know that we're unaware of, you know. And once we found out that the lights were on all the time, or that the lights on the building were pointed up in the sky like anti-aircraft lights, you know, we can understand some of the issues that you were having with the lights.
Yes, my point is clear definition of exactly what's being approved so that code enforcement can enforce it.
Yeah.
And we can work with code enforcement if need be.
Yeah. Well, I believe that's, you know, this part of the solution to this problem is that, you know, when we first heard this case back in November, you know, that information might have been presented. I don't remember the details of what the lumens were going to be, or, you know, I do remember that when we approved the plan, that, or the variance, that we asked specifically, you know, when the lights were going to be on. And some other details, you know, but like I said, I don't go out there to verify that stuff, you know.
I get it.
You know, and if you would have, you know, let the code enforcement officer know a little bit sooner, then.
So if you'd like to revisit that, there's testimony of people going to code enforcement and code enforcement sending letters, sending emails, stopping by, knocking at the door, and Mr. Yanako saying, I never received a letter, nobody knocked at my door, nobody called, I never received an email. So there's a he said, she said situation there all on its own that kind of materialized during the last 2 meetings ago, I believe. And I didn't want to visit that, but since you bring it up, that's my fear is
non-compliance.
How do we fix something that we don't even, first of all, know what it is, and then second of all, code enforcement's not there at night. They don't have the light meter to check it. The town doesn't own something to check this. So how do you enforce it? So all I'm looking for is how do you do those things in order to keep the neighbors happy and the business happy with how they can run their business. I guess my thoughts are as a kind of a smaller sign and something less bright and lit than what's there today. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
You're legitimately concerned about the compliance issue. I think the testimony that was given in early April, I think, bothered the board to hear that that was occurring. The stipulations with, the prior case relative to this parcel, a lot of focus was on the electronic messaging sign portion of this, which I think is where the board's eyes have opened up relative to 3 pages of sign ordinances and kind of getting a better comprehension of the whole ordinance stipulations regarding signs and where they're going to go, or what's appropriate. And I think that this case has been one of those that has been more reflective in that regard. The hours of operation for the electronic messaging sign were stipulated, and I think, and were a lot of discussions about them almost a year ago when it was brought forward. And that's why the disappointment of the board has been made, and not, within itself, and understandably bothersome to every member of the board. So
I appreciate that.
I think there's appropriate fines in this regard. I think that as staff has started to get a better feel of the road that they deal with, there are fines that are associated with non-compliance, and I think we're better suited now I think Mrs. Owen has indicated that we are more equipped to be able to measure the things that you're bringing forward and to monitor it better down the road. So to that regard, there's a lot of transitions going on, and none of them are conspiratorial.
Thank you.
All right? Any questions?
No, just one thing, not a question, but just for clarity's sake. I write a lot when you guys are up talking, mostly all of the abutters. I don't want it to come across that I'm doodling, and I hope that's not the case. Just a peek behind the curtain, not that you guys need to see how the sausage is made. A lot of what I do is just, I'm documenting what's being said, what we're seeing, and then a lot of it is, I try to write down all of your testimony, really as much as I can, to go through to make sure that we try to, it's about 4 years of cases, to make sure we go through and try to hit each of the topics. A lot of the time, I'll highlight or underline a few things I might be thinking of that you touch upon, but it's usually to reiterate a point, and just so you, not necessarily for the camera, but so you guys see it. Also, when I'm on my phone, I'm usually pulling up Google Earth, and this one was to see a view from, honestly, just from your property, so I can get more of a feel as you're talking to see what you're going with. So it's just for the general audience that if you do see that, I don't want it to come across as disrespectful. It's truly me trying to think. I'm trying to get myself in your shoes and really look at it from that point of view as well. So apologize for just how that comes across. I didn't really think of it that way.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Dietz.
Since my name was invoked in that conversation, I'd like to respond as well. I take notes. I tried to get it as closely to what you're saying as I can so that I can respond appropriately. I bring up on my iPad the 5 criteria so I can judge what you're saying against the 5 criteria. I also use Google Maps like Mr. Corbett. We're not being attentive or disrespectful to your testimony. I am listening with open ears at all times. So if you have that misperception, I'd like to clear that up. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. Mr. Donlin, anything? You all set?
I'm all set, Mr. Chair.
And Ms. Moran, Mr. Henry, any questions? Mr. Obimba or Mr. Dragani, you all set?
I'm all set, Chair.
Okay, good enough.
Can I ask one last question?
Sure.
Are any of you baseball coaches for youth or any of the surrounding community for baseball?
Yes, I'm part of the Derry Diamond. I coach for the AAA.
Do you send kids to this camp?
No, not to the camp.
Do you refer parents to this camp or to NEA at all?
No. I've mentioned NEA because I know kids who play in it. I've mentioned that kids play for NEA. Like when we compete against them, there are some pitchers in the majors level that we see, but I don't do any business with them.
Okay.
I am also a baseball coach in town, and I didn't know this business existed until this came before us.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that this current case or the former one, Mr. Donlin?
I wasn't present for the former one.
Got it. Okay. All right. All set?
Yep. Thank you.
Very good. All right. I think Mrs. Roger, I'll ask your husband to stay back. Just for protocol, we're in rebuttal for abutters, so this is that protocol, okay?
Okay. All right, my name's Jessica Cloutier. I live at 164 Hampstead Road. Tonight I prepared a speech again. So at the April zoning board meeting, I explained why I believe Bird Enterprises did not meet any of the 5 conditions required for a variance. Tonight, I am only going to focus on one issue so I don't take up too much of your time, and that issue would be hardship. After sitting through these meetings, it seems the applicant's main argument is that they need this large backlit pylon sign so people can find the business. I would have to disagree that this type of sign is necessary. As I mentioned at the April meeting, I visited several similar landscaping and nursery businesses around town and took photos of those signs. Not one of them has this type of oversized backlit pylon sign being requested here. One example is Springlook Farm on Island Pond Road here in Derry. They have been in business for decades, despite being approximately 860 feet from the road and only partially visible from passing traffic. They have managed to operate successfully all these years without a large industrial sign. Meanwhile, Bird Enterprises is located on a much busier roadway and only 300 feet from the road, with a large open lot that includes over 400 feet of unobstructed road frontage, where the business is clearly visible to passing traffic. If all these types of businesses in town have this wooden type sign that is externally lit that fit the character of this town, why does this location need such an oversized 16-foot tall industrial type sign to draw people in? The sign is inconsistent with the residential character the ordinance is designed to protect. To me, this shows that there is no true hardship inherited to the property itself. The issue is not visibility, it is simply a preference for a larger and more commercial style sign. A hardship must come from the land itself, not from a desire for a more prominent advertising. I'll just briefly go over the 5 conditions and how he meets none of them. And I'm going to read from your application. For a variance to be granted, you must show that your proposal meets all 5 of the conditions outlined below. Condition 1, there shall be no decrease in value of surrounding properties. And property values would decline if that sign remained there because, because property values decline when a quiet residential area becomes to look and feel more commercial. Condition 2, granting the variance would be in the public's interest. I would have to disagree because when referring to the public best interests, that also include all abutters and everyone else in the surrounding neighborhoods, and we get no benefit from a private business installing a commercial sign. This type of sign brings light pollution, traffic distractions, and disruption to a residential area. Public interest lies in preserving neighborhood character, not promoting commercial activity in zones not meant for it. Condition 3, a hardship must exist which is inherent in the land in question, and I've already gone over that. Condition 4, by granting the variance, substantial justice will be done. The gain to the business in this situation is far outweighed by the harm to the residents, by the property value, decreasing peace and light pollution. In condition 5, the use must not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the ordinance. The spirit of the ordinance is to separate residential and commercial use. The ordinance is designed to promote the health, safety, and welfare of residents. Granting this variance would undermine the entire purpose of residential zoning. For these reasons, I respectfully urge the board to deny the 16-foot tall pylon sign in this residential district and urge the applicant to rethink the type of sign for the location and go for one that is better suited for this area. That is all.
So when you've heard the Davidsons come up and their points of view and the exchange with that, what is acceptable to you in this regard?
Well, of course, I don't have the pictures with me tonight, but when I went around town looking at other businesses of this type, I came to find that this town, what fits the character is more like of a wooden sign kind of, and it's externally lit. Like I have small pictures with me, sorry.
That's fine.
I feel like that is much more suited for our area and fits the character.
The signs that Andrew Roger brought forward have been verified. I think the spring look you've referred to, and some of these signs are larger than the permitted signs that are established in the ordinances. But those were used as references as to what would be acceptable. But that's the size, and you're describing a different design, so to speak, a wooden sign. I think Meadowbrook, the sign down at Meadowbrook, not the horse farm, but the other one is externally lit. That's a wooden sign. It's rotted, and but it is in the 24 square foot size. Many of the other signs that have been spoken of are different variations. You have a sign that is 0.6 of a mile away from this location, and that sign is backlit, and it is, I think, 40 square feet in size. That I know of, there was no permit issued for that sign at the time, but I think you are starting to understand in some perspective that the signs that have been presented as a rational existence aren't quite matching all the ordinances as they're depicted either. So in that regard, also understanding what I've portrayed to the other speaker, Mr. Carden, I would ask, whereas you are not a direct abutter, how would you be aggrieved by this if the board ruled favorably for the applicant?
Well, I do live pretty close to it, but it would affect, it already affects the neighborhood, to be honest.
In which way?
Just the noise, the atmosphere in general is louder, there's more traffic, I feel like by adding a sign of this type, it's just would change the character even more. Like right now, it feels like a residential neighborhood, but once you come across that sign, it's almost like you would think you're almost coming into an area where it's more commercial. It changes the vibe of the neighborhood. I'm sorry, I don't know really how to.
So, I think we've talked about that this is not a quaint neighborhood, it's a major throughway, right, or passageway. I think you've stated the 5 criteria and how this doesn't comply, but your position on this, how you would be aggrieved, is based on the fact that it's agitated neighbors. That doesn't fit the 5 criteria either.
Well, it changes the character of the neighborhood. I'm not saying it agitates us.
It's not responsible for an increase in traffic either, right? We know that that's a busy road, and Olson Road intersection has been a hazardous location as well.
Well, his work trucks have definitely brought more traffic to the intersection.
I see, okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Corbett?
I said to myself the nursery, sorry.
All right, got it. Anybody have any questions? Mr. Tripp?
I guess I have a question. Do you believe that he should be able to operate his business there?
Does that really matter in this case? We're talking about the sign?
Say again?
Does that really matter in this case? We're talking about the sign.
Well, I believe that a business owner has a right to advertise his location and his products.
Yes,
So
I'm not saying that he shouldn't have any sign. I'm just saying the type of sign he has is not suited for this area.
Okay, but can we go back to my question? Do you think he should be allowed to operate a business there?
It's a location he chose to be, and the planning board allowed it, so.
Say again? I didn't hear you.
I said the planning board allowed it, and he chose to be there.
Well, actually, the planning board acknowledged that a nursery is permitted by RSA, I don't remember what the number is.
Statute.
And the ordinance is permitted the operation of the school. So it's not the planning board that permitted those uses. It was
by right?
By right, yes. So,
okay,
so you think that he should have a right to operate those businesses there?
I don't think they fit under the categories that were listed, but that's just my opinion. It's not a school.
Say again?
It's not a school.
The town believes it's a school. No, because
And I would have to disagree.
The thing that I'm trying to get to is that he is permitted to operate two businesses there. One being the nursery and the other being the school. You know, I believe he also should be permitted to advertise his location and the products being offered, you know? So, but like I said, it goes back to, do you think that he should be permitted to operate a business there?
I don't think it belongs in the neighborhood, no.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Dietzel, any questions?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Donlin?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair.
You all set, Mr. Corbett?
Yes, I think Ms. Cloutier did a good job reiterating on the signs and the signs that'll fit in the area. Thank you for the testimony.
Thank you. I also have another statement that I would like to read, if possible.
Okay, is it poignant to this?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Members of the board, I would like to briefly address something that was discussed at our previous meeting, that the variance request should be viewed as a use variance and not an area variance. My understanding that an area variance generally concerns dimensional requirements such as size, height, lighting, and placement, while a use variance concerns a use of elsewise not permitted in this district. In either case, however, the statutory variance criteria still includes unnecessary hardship. I recognize that the current application is different from the prior one in that the electronic message center has been removed and the overall sign has been reduced. However, the application still seeks relief from the ordinance to obtain a non-conforming, freestanding, illuminated sign that would elsewise not be permitted at this location. In addition, there was some discussion at the prior meeting regarding whether the planning board may have created an expectation that additional signage would be permitted. I would like to clarify that I have a packet available to distribute to the board, which includes the relevant site plan. That site plan outlines only the old church existing sign at the property and does not reflect any approval or entitlement for additional signage beyond what is currently permitted by ordinance. It is also important to note that Delahanty's has since been granted 3 building signs totaling 43.1 square feet, and despite that approval, the applicant is still seeking additional signage relief beyond what has already been allowed. The signage depicted in the approval site plan shows the former church sign approximately 10 feet by 1 foot in size and 2 feet from the ground, located approximately 42 feet from the road, which is 32 feet further back from the roadway than the pylon sign Delahanty's now has. In the prior litigation, the Superior Court analyzed the hardship question as applied to this property. The court reviewed whether the characteristics of the land justified relief from the ordinance and concluded that the hardship requirement had not been met. Because the present request still seeks variance relief for a non-conforming sign at the same property, it would seem that the court's prior hardship analysis remains relevant to the board's consideration, even though the applicant has been modified and is now being characterized differently. Yeah.
It's not your statement, is it?
No, it's not.
No. And all those points that you've just brought up have already been discussed by the board and reviewed by the board. Did you print, somebody must have provided that for you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I do have the documents that was brought up in that, though.
Go ahead and accept it. I think we have it, but. Everybody on the board, Mr. Dietzel, you have the site plan.
I have site plan.
Yeah, we have the existing one, but we can accept this one as well, just to confirm.
Make a motion.
Make a motion to accept.
Second, please.
Second.
Mr. Donlin, thank you. For the record, board accepts submittals of a duplicate site plan. Okay, anything else, Mrs. Cloutier?
No, that is all.
Thank you. You're all set?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Thank you. Rebuttal, this was second, or rebuttal for abutters. I think we heard everybody that had indicated they wanted to speak at the last meeting. I think council had somebody you were gesturing you wanted to speak.
But before...
Is he a direct abutter? What's the element of the basis of his testimony is? Okay.
Mr. Chair, prior to this, Mike, can I call Mr. Davison back up? I would just like to clarify. Could you go back? Sorry. Do we have to say his name again, or are we good?
No, I think you called him up, you made his name known.
Could you go back to, you asked a question before, you were asking about the coaches, you were asking about business interests. So I just want to clarify. Are you asking if I have any type of business interest or partnership, or have I used the facility?
Use the facility.
Yes, I have taken my son to the facility in December. I paid for an hour to use the batting cage with him. And then Derry Diamond, I believe, rented it to do a middle school boot camp. And the league asked me to help out on the second night because they didn't have enough coaches. But there was nothing that exchanged anything with me or that I dealt with anyone within NEA other than checking in with my son. But I just wanted to clarify that so that I didn't misrepresent anything. So if you have any follow-up questions, I'm happy to answer, but I just wanted to make sure that I understood the question before.
With that being said, does that feel to anybody that maybe Mr. Corbett should recuse himself from this?
I don't see a pecuniary interest. Mr. Corbett could define it more to the board. The board can vote on it. I can tell you I haven't used the facility, but I've heard the facility advertised on the radio. So I know its purpose. I know what it's doing for the town or people. I haven't talked to anybody relative to this. I'm not seeing a conflict in it. He's not a regular participant there from what I can hear, and he's certainly not getting any free services there.
No, I did not.
I can add.
And before Ms. Warren speaks, if I may, my take on it would be similar to when Sam and Lena Patel were at the same property, and I typically eat at East Derry Tavern often as a resident in town, and I still voted against them, so I don't think that utilizing a use in town as a resident necessarily makes you biased, but I am happy to hear from the board and defer to the board.
Okay.
I want to say I'm a youth coach, but not for baseball. And there's many times that my kids have gone places, and to make him tell his kid no would not be fair whatsoever. You know, if all his buddies are going, they shouldn't have to reap anything here, because like myself, I've been here since the 90s. If I had to sit back on every case that I might know somebody, I wouldn't be able to be here.
Fair enough. I thought I had a fair question, though, too.
No.
Absolutely. No,
This kid's not good at
that's why I wanted to call you back. There was a reason we were in there, but that's why I wanted to call back up and make sure
Thank you.
that I reiterated that.
Thanks for clarifying.
May I ask you a question?
Mr. Tripp?
Thank you. In your original testimony, you made a comment about the sign. You said it was oversized, it was backlit, verification methods, brightness. When Mrs. Moji, I think that's the name?
Cloutier.
What?
Ms. Cloutier. Ms. Cloutier.
Cloutier? All right. She made some comments that made me want to ask you a question.
Sure.
All right. You would, in your original testimony, you said that it was an oversized sign. All right. Do you believe that's an oversized sign?
I believe it does not fit the character of the neighborhood and is oversized for our neighborhood, yes.
In what manner is it oversized?
In the manner that it's larger than what this board would permit on a normal basis.
Height and girth, as I recall.
Height, girth is a large sign, 16-foot tall.
Okay.
And
do you
50
consider
square feet, 65 square feet at one point. It's a large sign. About the same size as that screen right there.
Say again?
It's close to the size of that screen right there. If you turn it on if you turned it, that's probably maybe even smaller than what the sign actually is. So it's a large sign, and then on a large pole.
The current sign, each of those cabinets, there's 2 cabinets, they're both 25 square feet. I think measures out to, if you go the full 5 foot high, 60 inches high, the width of that cabinet is 2.5 inches wider for each foot up. I can't really say if it's the size of that sign, that screen behind me or not, but.
I'd need a tape measure to be as accurate, but it feels like a large sign.
Yeah, I think I get your point.
I have a follow-up.
Mr. Tripp?
You know there's 2 businesses there.
I know there's 2 businesses there. I opposed both businesses, but I had no way to oppose both businesses.
Okay.
So I oppose the businesses, period.
Okay. I believe that the owner is allowed to have a sign for each business.
So if he had 5 businesses there, he could have 5 signs. If he had 10 businesses there, he could have 10 signs. Or 100 signs if he had 100 businesses there. I guess where does that stop?
Yeah, I like the idea of 100 businesses.
Well,
I think I'm done. This is foolishness for crying out loud.
You're being silly, so I can be silly.
No, I'm not being silly.
Let's clarify for the record. All right, Mr. Tripp, are you all set for right now?
I am all set.
And I think to the point, Mr.
This is why people get incited, because crazy questions come up, and it's frustrating.
Well, I'm trying to get back to
Understood. I'm just telling you my point
you're
right
asking
there.
and kind of clarify for Mr. Tripp. I think he's passionate about having more commercial development in town, not necessarily where it doesn't fit well. I think we can agree that because of statute and ordinance, this certainly was an odd fit, that someone would come and open up a baseball school and a nursery all in the same location. But it's the perfect storm for what has occurred here. And I think that I said it at the last meeting, there's this perception that there was already a decision made. We hear that in the tone and the comments that are made. Not only that, but a statement that says that there's a conspiracy. And we heard that last year too. I think to your question, if it was 100 businesses, what would be appropriate? Would it be 100 signs? Well, possibly so. However, the design of something of that matter would not be in this location. The odds of 2 businesses fitting in this one location that would be approved, one by statute that the town has no say over, is unusual. 100 businesses in that one location would not be permitted at all, because there's not that many businesses that would be by right. And in that regard, there's other sign designs that this board might have purview over to correct that, even if it were 100 businesses in the one location.
Okay, maybe
So I think we've clarified all of that, and I understand that Mr. Tripp has some levity to his response and back and forth. I think I've clarified that aspect of it, the 100 signs, and that the board's discretion is still lingering as to where this goes.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
Feels to me that Mr. Tripp has made a decision already, though. And back to your point where predetermined, it feels that way because it feels like he's on, the questions that he's asking are on the side of the business being there. He wants more commercial. He wants signs. He's saying it. You're saying that that's what he's thinking. So it
But
sounds
I think
predetermined.
the discretion is that we understand that the perfect storm of 100 businesses or 50 businesses fitting in this location are very
Okay.
odd. So he's being a little facetious, I think, possibly.
I'm just trying to clarify that these businesses are permitted. There's a permitted use.
So the businesses came in under, you know what? I don't want to go down this road because I'm going to get pissed.
No,
All right?
I remember your point.
They came in undercover. I'm not happy about it to begin with. They're there.
Let's move on.
if I
Let's
may.
move on.
Mr.
I mean, I don't know
Davison.
why I have to revisit
Yeah,
this.
sure. He made it very clear at the original meeting, and we as the board made it very clear it was not within our purview to hear it. So to Mr. Davison's point, we should not be going back and forth with that point right now.
I'm all set.
Okay, thank you. All right, we had one abutter who wanted to give he's not spoken before. I'm going to give that latitude and then get the attorneys back up. We're going to take a motion on the 26-112 to table the next meeting.
That motion.
Very good.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Donlin. Mr. Moulton, I do know you're in the room, but we're not going to get to you tonight. We'll reschedule you for the next meeting, which you will be, God help us, so we can get through this case. You should be first on the agenda, okay? All in favor of tabling that case 26-112 to the next meeting, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Very good. Thank you, Mr. Moulton. Hearing from one last abutter.
Is there two?
Good evening.
Good evening. Ben Mitchell, 3 Belmont Terrace.
Are you a direct abutter?
Not a direct abutter.
So there's three what?
3 Belmont Terrace.
Thank you.
About a third of a mile down the road.
Okay.
I just wanted to state that I don't really understand the whole property value conversation and part of this about the sign. I drive by that sign probably multiple times a day. Never had an issue with it. Certainly have not had as big of an issue with it as the look of the dilapidated church that was there for years prior. The look of dumpsters in the front yard of abutters to the property that we're talking about don't seem to be an issue to the property values of the abutters, but this beautiful new sign seems to. It doesn't make much sense to me. I agree with Mr. Tripp. I mean, as far as the commercial growth of the town as a taxpayer, I support that. And especially a business like this that serves the youth of the community.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Council, you're welcome back up. We're going to try and get you done.
And we hope to be very brief, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the Honorable Board again for one last opportunity to speak. For the record, my name is Chris Drescher. I'm an attorney with Cronin, Bisson, and Zielinski out of Manchester, and I am the counsel for the applicant, Bird Enterprises, LLC. I just want to take this opportunity to make 2 very brief points. At the last hearing, we had some discussion with Member Corbett about a potentially bringing the sign down. We looked into that. We are able to do that and are willing to do that to lose 4 feet off the height of that sign. So if you were to approve this, we'd be perfectly fine having that as a condition. And lastly, I just wanted to say, I'm just going to say I'll defer to my testimony, to our pleadings, to everything we've already put in the record, so we don't have to belabor the point much more into this evening. But one point I made back in April that seems to have been lost since then, at least from the testimony I've been listening to for the past 2 hearings, is the hardship criteria, specifically the special conditions that speak to the land itself. Now, when I read the Superior Court case, what Judge Class said is that the special condition that was presented to him was just that everything was pushed back, and that didn't cut it for him. However, what I presented back in April when I came to you, and what was never presented back in the original case, which I think absolutely does, is, and I'm going to hold up a tax map here. You have a tax map. It's already in your application, so we don't need to go through the motions to submit it. I'm just going to hold it up here. But this is the largest lot in the area. It's bigger than all the others. And that is why back in April I brought up the Harborside case, because I think, Mr. Chair, I know you're familiar with that case, and in that case, the sort of nutshell I'm taking from that is that in that case, the Supreme Court said that hardship, at least with respect to special condition, could be the size of the hotel that was in that case, because they needed a bigger sign because they had a bigger hotel. And that was a special condition, and that was one of the bigger takeaways from that case. Not the only takeaway, of course, but one of the major takeaways, and I think that is analogous to this situation here. We have the largest lot in the area, and that you haven't allowed use. I also heard something about use variances versus dimensional variances. Not that that matters anymore, but if we were talking about dimensions, I just gave you the dimensions. If we're talking about use, the use is allowed. He's got a commercial use. He's entitled to a sign for his business. And that was really all I wanted to have my last word be. Applicants here, if you got any more questions. And, and we'll also reduce the light by 25% is what you're saying to me.
Yeah,
okay, so
I found that out, that you can, LED lights, it was, the question was brought up last time, are you able to turn down the brightness on those signs? I reached out to my sign company on 3 different fronts that were brought up last time. I heard this board loud and clear last time when we spoke about, turning down the volume, trying to get this back under wraps. I believe that every time I've spoken to you over the course of, I think we're on 5 meetings, I've been respectful. I've come up, I've spoken in a manner that I've tried to be professional and so forth. I will say, tonight, I'm very offended. I'm very upset. I've sat here and been dragged through the mud for 5 meetings. I've been told that I've lied. I've been told that I haven't done things. I've been told that I shouldn't be there. I've been told pretty much that my existence.
Not by the board. But.
Not by the board. No, I'm sorry. Thank you. By the abutters. And there's been so many falsities made and so many inaccuracies made. I'm very, very upset at this point. I do not want to go through every inaccuracy with this board because this has been a painful process for myself and you and my business and my customers and everyone but about 3 people that love this place, love my sign, love what I've done, love that I've brought 2 businesses to this town, love that I'm working with the youth, love that I have a garden center, but 3 or 4 families that consistently drag me through the mud. I am not that person. I have spent a ton of money here. I have never said once that my hardship is money. Not one time. But I've been told I did. I've been told that I've ignored knocking on doors. I've ignored messages. I've ignored these things. That has not happened. I have not locked myself in a closet when someone's come to my door. You can ask Miss Owen. I came to her on my own to tell her what I was doing with the sign, to tell her what the process was. I said I would shut the lights off. I shut the lights off. I don't have to shut the lights off in the building. I can leave them on 24 hours a day if I would like to, but I shut them off. I also shut off the lights that have been in the air for 27 years that no one had a problem with. I'm sure it's not on the record. For 27 years, no one said one word until I moved in. Now I put up the lights that have been referenced as an airport. I didn't put those lights up. They were pre-existing that they had no issues with. 0. They have a problem with me in that the ordinance that they lived in, that they moved to before this happened, allows this use. That is not my fault. That is not your fault. It is allowed. Simply, it is allowed. I am not going to go up and down Hampstead Road and call out every business that is out of compliance with their signs, but there's plenty. There's plenty. Mr. Tripp made a comment last time that he hadn't noticed any backlit signs in the area. There are. There's several. There's one at the other end of the road. Yes, it's out of town by 50 feet next to another abutter that I believe Mr. Rogi brought up a sign off. Okay, you can see it from the abutter. So yes, it might be another sign. Backlit sign, electronic reader board, same road. Less than 5 minutes away. Calvary Christian Church has a backlit sign. Doesn't mean they turn it on. They have a backlit sign. Can flip it on tonight if they'd like. With a reader board. Not electronic, with a reader board. Okay? Down the street, as you go into the historic district, there is a reader board. There's a backlit sign, and the church across the street also has a backlit sign. I'm not asking for anything that is out of character of the neighborhood. I've increased the value of the character of the neighborhood. There are dumpsters in the front yards of people's homes on that road, commercial dumpsters.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt, Mr. Chair. Due to time, may I motion to extend?
Go 15.
15 minutes, please.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
Sorry, back.
All in
If I
favor,
may-
say aye.
Aye.
Chair,
Right,
if I
all
may
right.
interrupt, I apologize. We have one case still pending. I don't know if you want to table that as well.
You had the Moulton case.
And there's
another one after
a
that?
further case, yes.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
26-113.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Case
Sorry,
26-113, you said?
Correct.
Yeah, motion to table to the next meeting,
I'll make a motion to
please.
table case 26-113 to our next meeting.
Second, please.
Second.
Mr. Tripp, seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry, folks.
And I think what I'll just say, I'm off of that, I think some of my clients' frustration probably also stems from the fact that, we've come here, we've been making these concessions, we'll shrink the sign, we'll make it lower, make it smaller, we'll make the lights go off, we'll make them less bright. And I just hope that doesn't fall on deaf ears, that we have done that.
What is, I think we are looking at the lighting, that becomes a big issue, right?
Yeah, so a question that I would have for you guys. Would you consider breaking up the motion? One for a sign and then one regarding the lights, rather than just one motion altogether? Is that something that you'd be willing to
I'd have to
consider?
defer to you on that.
I guess, can you make me understand a little more, Member Quota?
Two motions.
What I would think is two motions, one that would allow, or one that would vote on the sign, the size of the sign, and the area, one that would allow for either the backlit or external lights or any type of lighting towards the sign, rather than just one variance that ties everything together.
So before you get into that, I was on a little bit of a tangent, and I apologize for that. I think you can understand why.
Hold on a second. This is not retaliatory. It's breaking down what you're hearing for testimony.
Nope, I understand.
And understanding your frustration, and from Ms. Corbett's perspective, if you break the two apart, it doesn't necessarily, both could be challenged if that's the course of the abutters, but they could be challenged separately. They may accept some adjustments that you've made and challenge a separate part.
Correct. The one concern I have, and this is something you brought up originally, and I think in context that you brought it up, Mr. Corbett, was I think you were looking for an example, and I have a better example after talking to that. So I've done my research after each one of these meetings. I spoke to my electrician, East Coast Electrical Corporation, big company, Massachusetts, does a bunch of commercial work, does a bunch of residential work. They no longer, in most towns, are allowed to install external lighting on signs in areas. And the reason for it is lawn maintenance. Lawn maintenance goes around, they hit the signs, and they turn the floodlights into the road. They just won't, they're not even allowed in a lot of towns now. So now I'm left with little or no lighting. Downlit signs have been out in several towns for years too, because of the same thing, the angle of the lights project into people's eyes. So backlit signs in East Coast Electrical Corporation, which has been around for many years doing a lot of this, is the best and safest way to backlit signs. And that's why I said, I called my sign company. I was able to, they said I can reduce the sign by 25% in height. That brings it down 4 feet. I can reduce the illuminations by 25%. I took the, gentleman asked about the down lighting on the top, which is the LED. I removed that. I think the concessions I've brought here did exactly what this board asked of this case before, and that's to come to a resolution, try to have some sort of a give and take, turn down the temperature to some extent. I believe I've done all of that, and yet I still am being, berated is just simply they don't want anything there. So whatever I come back with for a sign, I'm going to be doing the same process. They might disagree, but that is the case. So I'm asking for, and we can certainly, clarity is one. I also have no problem if this board wishes, again, to turn down temperature. As of right now, I'm allowed to keep my building signs on all night. I still am allowed to have the floodlights go up. Although I said in the meeting I can turn them off, I'll turn them off. They're there and allowed. I mean, they've been there for 27 years. They're part of the original approval. But I'm happy to make a concession to that as well. Upon approval, I would happy to have the lights on the building go off at a certain time. I'm happy to never turn the floodlights on. I'm happy to have my sign go off at the hours we talked about last time, off at 9 o'clock, on at dusk. I explained the method that on at dusk. Explained the method that can happen last time. I can reduce it by 25% height. I can reduce the illumination by 25%. I will take the lights off of the top. I think I've made a lot of concessions to try to make this work.
I'm not trying to get you to break down, and I don't think that's
I wasn't even getting to your point. I was just getting done what I needed to get done.
Yeah, but I think that you hear the testimony, and we're trying to work through something that we can see perhaps a road ahead and give an opportunity that addresses your concerns as well as the abutters, and that people, leave here in an uncontested
and I believe I'm doing that by offering to have the signage on the buildings off at a time.
But I have some questions that I want to ask relative to your concessions as well, because I want to make sure that they make sense. And so what you're suggesting is that you would lower this from approximately 16 feet down to 12 feet at the top.
Correct.
But that brings the lowest sign in, and by the way, the board still has to deliberate about these signs and their sizes and how they are structured, right? And so there's a lot of, let's just say, spitballing going on here to try and figure out what works, and that there's no regrets later, right, on all parties. And essentially you are dealing with three parties right now: yourselves, the abutters, in the town. And so in that regard, by dropping this down 4 feet, that lower cabinet ends up 2 feet off the ground. And is that where you want that cabinet to be? And so where I'm going with this is, one of the abutters talked about a parallel horizontal alignment of the cabinets, which puts them at an equal height, may bring it down a little lower. But the question that we come to also is that your lighting and your need for it going towards the hardship is more about the baseball camp, and that you have patrons that are more likely to be there in the evening, and that's where that hardship starts to play in, right? You need them to be able to see the location. And so in this regard, if you had to do a trade-off, right, and honestly, do you need the lights on at dusk because everybody's going to see that sign when they're going by in the daylight, right?
No.
Or at dawn or whatever, right? I mean, at some point,
No, I never have it on in the morning, no.
Okay, and so I get that, right? But I think before you follow this full concession, and the board still needs to deliberate about this, I would think about that cabinet that's 2 feet off the ground. And if you can do the cabinet that's 2 feet off the ground, perhaps you need to put them both at that horizontal, or bring them up 4 feet off the ground and make them horizontal.
Well, when the reader board was initially installed and was on the bottom of those cabinets, it was 3 by 5. So it hung below those cabinets 3 feet.
Yep.
I'm suggesting we go down 4 feet.
Yep.
When it was down 3 feet, it was fine. It was 3 feet off the ground, and it was no problem. So I'm okay with the 2 feet. I mean, would I prefer it to be a foot higher? Yes, I would. I think it'd be more proportional. I think it'd look right. But I've already got a reference point because that cabinet was there with the reader board that wasn't turned on. So I know where the bottom was. So I'm not going to be shocked by that. Put it that way. I'm not.
So is it more advantageous for two signs to be side by side at a certain height off the ground?
I don't think so. The whole reason why the sign was designed this way by the sign company, we put a lot of thought in this, is because of how busy Hampstead Road is.
Yep.
In top to bottom, people are coming down the road and you see the sign that way.
Yeah.
That was, so to be quite honest, a sign going, in the other direction is not ideal by any means.
You feel it would have to catch the attention a different way.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's sort of when you have it, situated on the road this way, it's easier for the driver to see. When you turn it to the road, it's more, really sits on top.
Just as one last point about that, it's been brought up, and it's kind of been just labeled at this point, I guess, in this room. I'm not saying by the board, but it's actually been communicated back in questions to the abutters, the oversized sign. I'm here for variance. That's to the eyes of the beholder what the oversized sign is. Mr. Rogi came up here. I wish this is the problem with the extension of the meetings. I'm supposed to be now speaking to images I don't have. I can only guess what those pictures were because he doesn't have them here.
Yeah, I think they're the same photos that he brought in the prior time.
There, I just have to remember, right? Yep. I can't see every one. What I do know on those photos, that every business on there closed before dark, and everyone was a nursery or garden center. So we're not comparing apples to apples there. The other thing is that I think is unique, and the board should understand this, because you're trying to listen to both sides of this, to the abutters as well. Mr. Rogi did a nice sign formation, and he said, this is a nice 3x6 sign. Fortunately for myself and today's technology, what was in front of that sign was a hay bale.
Was it what?
Was a hay bale when he did the design.
I thought you said hate mail.
No, it might have been some hate mail too, but a hay bale. Being able to use AI and so forth now, the sign he showed you was 9 feet long and almost 5 feet tall, based on the size of a hay bale. So when you measure it out, what he showed, and everyone here, all the abutters thought it looked great, is actually the same size, almost the same size in square footage as the sign I'm presenting. And they thought it was
cabinets.
great. Yep.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yep. So it might have said it was smaller, but it didn't show that way, and everyone seemed to feel as though that size was nice. Fortunately, it was a hay bale there, so I know a hay bale is 35 inches long by 18 inches tall, so you can go and start doing it out, so you can see that.
All right. So your concession is that the externally lit signs on the building would follow the lighting if this could get approved. Is that what you're saying to us?
Yeah, and if I may, and correct me if I speak out of turn, Jay, but I think with two motions, I don't have a problem with the two motions. I think, though, but when it comes to the lighting, you've heard him. He'll make concessions. We'll put the timer on it. They'll turn off. We'll make it less bright, etc. But as opposed to internal versus external, I think that's just a whole different thing. And I think and I think you've heard it from the applicant that I don't think we're pro external or pro the external lighting. So that would probably be the line that we'd have to draw, so to speak.
And your timeline on when that light would be shut off would be,
so I think
you indicated you had some kind of fancy control.
Yeah, it's just new technology, right? So it can be set at a time to go on. Like you said, do I need it on at dusk? No, but that's the way a timer can work.
I get it. Okay.
So I can set a time, but I'd have to change it all the time. Potentially, it might even have something in there that you can do. There's so much technology now.
And then, sorry to interrupt, just to confirm, because again, the bots at my work are the bane of my existence. You can manually override this.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
It's literally a switch. And it would go off at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, if I recall, we submitted some material last time we were here about the technology that the timers can go on. And I think the idea was basically, it goes off at 9. Goes on as it gets dark out, and then when you average it out throughout the year, it actually would only average out to 2 hours a day. I think it was
2 hours and 5 minutes.
2 hours and 5 minutes, something like that. We submitted that in those attachments that we put in last meeting. So obviously during the winter, on a little longer. During the summer, on a little shorter.
I mean, it's coming up to the time it won't go on at all.
Do you need both cabinets lit?
I would think so, yeah, just for the
advertising,
Yeah, just
I
for the,
think.
yeah.
Mr. Chair, may I opine on that as a board member? I would not understand why I would see an application with 2 signs and only one of them lit. I would think that would, yeah, I don't know why we'd ever look into something like that. In general, like that would, yeah, to Crystal's point, it would just look decrepit.
Well, you would have to prove that in the 5 criteria.
That I felt it looked decrepit.
And
I mean, we you know, we're not speaking to the fact, we're using the fact that the baseball facility is open at a later time, but I do sell Christmas trees. You know, we do open later for the nursery at times of year. So now I'd have to say, well, okay, but I really want it from November to 15th to this time to be on, because that's when we sell Christmas trees in this time of year. Yeah, I would just think it would be on.
It's relative to the board's decision, and what
And I would
we
think it
have
would
to
be a
evaluate.
better look for the surrounding area to have just both on and just look normal to me.
Okay. Anything else?
I have a question.
Mr. Tripp?
The signs that you have on the buildings, they are lit?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Donlin, you have anything to follow up on?
I do. They referenced, I believe the word you used was brightness of the signs is possible to go down by 25%. Did they speak to any value that's not as vague as brightness and 25%? Like, is this however many candles or whatever?
Like that.
No, initially in the file, you'll find information on the lumens of this sign. It was presented originally with our sign company. It was designed through the sign engineer, if you will, about the lumens. There's a big piece in there. I would just simply think in basic terms, we'll just use it for simple terms. If it's currently set at 100 lumens, it will go to 75 lumens. I don't, like Mr. Tripp, I don't know how I can determine a lumen like that. I don't know that. I just know it can be turned down in a percentage value.
So fair to say then, to the best of your knowledge, right now, the sign is at 100% of its brightness?
Yes, I think that's the default. That's what my sign company told me, that's the default.
Okay.
Which is what we presented to the initial, I think the initial plan in lumens and so forth, which is the standard, what they say is the standard, so. But I didn't know either until it was brought up, and I asked the company, and they can be turned down.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
If I may, 10:15, may I request a second extension?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to extend for an additional 15 minutes.
Mr.
Second.
Dietzel?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Okay. You had a question?
I have a follow-up to Mr. Donlin's point. Before the next meeting, can I request, and I apologize for having to go back through the documents, but can I request that you guys present us kind of what the current 100% lumens are, and then what the 25% reduction will be, just so we have that officially rather than Craig math taking place?
Sure.
Sure.
Mr. Donnelly, you all set? I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's all right, I'm used to it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dietzel?
I'm all set, Mr. Chair.
All right, Mr. Dietzel's used to it too, I guess.
Oh, no.
Mr. Tripp, you all set? And you're all
I
set?
have no questions.
All right.
I'd like to see, I just want to see that one for the,
Sure.
before we dive into deliberative.
Let's adjourn this, all right? I don't think we have to have any more testimony, all right?
I agree.
Safe that way. I don't see us getting through a fair deliberation, that's the point.
I understand.
And I don't
Just-
want it rushed.
I'm just without a sign.
I understand. And if it's any significance to you, you don't necessarily need to be here for the deliberation that happens either, but.
Yes,
Well, no, I
I can
requested
be
that.
here in your stead if you like. I'm
Yeah,
just
I did
watching.
request a little bit of
All right,
info.
we're open to, if ideas come from the board members, they can be relayed to me and then back to code enforcement, okay? And I think I have a good understanding of where you're at. I think I can appreciate the amount of concessions that you are making and that you're hearing kind of the back and forth. And so it's not falling on deaf ears. I don't want to rush through a deliberation that I think is going to take more than 10 minutes.
Okay.
I understand. I understand that 100%.
And just so I'm clear, so we are to try to get some information submitted, which I can email in on lumens and light measurement?
Yeah,
something?
My specific request would just be what the current 100% lumens is,
Okay.
and then just specifically defined what the 25% reduction is.
I will say to you that there is no district in this community that does not allow for a business sign. If you look at all the ordinance, the 3 pages of it. And so I can understand, but I have an understanding of, I think Mr. Davidson was up and there was an exchange, about 100 businesses. I think that has to be evaluated, and you're not 100 businesses, but I think there's that aspect to it as well. So just trying to figure out the best way on this, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Roger.
And lastly, are we being continued to a date certain?
I'm sorry, again?
Are we being continued to a date certain for the deliberation?
We will take this up again at the next board meeting. I think you'll get more information as we kind of compile what's been presented, okay?
Okay.
All right.
That would be June 4th.
June 4th.
Do you want to ask Mr. Roger to keep the sign? Do you want to keep?
May not be able to, may have to get
I don't want to see the sign. All right, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Roger.
Thank you very much, the
Thank you.
Honorable Board.
Adjourn hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just curious how the butters would get the same information, if there's an exchange of information between them.
Would you like that?
Yes, please.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, we will, Mrs. Owen, you have contact information with these folks?
I believe I do, yes.
So what we get, we'll resource through code enforcement, okay? Thank you. All right. Let's get on to the later part of the agenda. We got to bring back appointment of officers, of which we are a month overdue taking care of. As policies allow, each board member is allowed to select chair, vice chair, or nominate chair, vice chair, secretary. If it's status quo amongst all members, you are welcome to state so. Would somebody like to, Mr. Dietzel, would you like to make a nomination for chair?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to nominate Lynn Perkins for chair.
Okay. Mr. Corbett?
Yeah, I second that nomination.
All right. Mrs. Moran and Mr. Tripp, do either of you have an alternative?
No.
Okay. All in favor of Lynn Perkins being chair, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Hearing none.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Mr. Corbett, likewise, I ask for him to stay as vice chair and nominate him as such.
Second.
Mr. Dietzel seconds that. Mr. Tripp, you in favor of that?
I am in favor of that.
Ms. Moran, do you have opposition?
I do not.
All right, all in favor of Mr. Corbett being vice chair for another year, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none.
Thank you, everyone.
Mrs. Moran, I would ask to remain as secretary, board secretary. Mr. Dietzel, what say you?
Second.
All right, thank you. Mr. Tripp, you okay with that?
I'm fine with that.
Mr. Corbett, any alternatives you want to suggest?
No, I think Ms. Moore's done an excellent job the last 4 years, give or take.
All right, good enough. All in favor of Ms. Moran remaining as secretary, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Our only correspondence is a New Hampshire Town and City publication. Anybody would like to read that, you're welcome to take it home and do so. Anyone? All right, seeing no takers, I'll take it home myself. That being said, that will wrap up this evening's session, and we will continue with the other cases at our next meeting, which is June 4th, okay. Any new cases to add to the agenda?
We have 2.
Oh, 2, okay. Well, at least we're slowing down on the pace, right? Okay. All right, that being said, we can take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Obimba, seconded by Mr. Dietzel. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.